Good morning, everyone, and welcome once again. Mo kí gbogbo wa pé Kọ́lá Jímọ̀ ṣọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ láyé. Ọlọ́run ṣe lè láṣemọ̀ fún wa. A máa bá wa láyà fi wá sáyé lọ́ọ̀lọ́ ni lágbára Ọlọ́run àkópalẹ̀mọ́ ọdún lọ́tún lọ́sì. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé. Ìjà òmìnira láti bọ́ kúrò nínú oko ẹrú Nàìjíríà. Ọlọ́run á jẹ́ kó ṣeé ṣe fún wa lágbára Elédùmarè. Gbogbo àwọn tó bá dẹ̀ ní kò ní ṣeé ṣe tó fà wọ́n lọ́lọ́run lọ́wọ́. Àwa mọ̀ pé ó ti ṣeé ṣe. Mo kí wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí o. Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò wa bí a ti ṣe ń ṣe ní láràárọ̀ láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú Starr Radio UK. Ẹ bá wa pín ètò náà. Ẹ bá wa sọ fún àwọn tí wọ́n ti mọ̀ pa ti wà lórí ètò pé Koiki Media àtútù bọ́ sórí ètò. President Bola Tinubu ó náà máa lift ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn kúrò nínú poverty. Ǹjẹ́ gbàgbọ́? Ǹjẹ́ possible láti lift 50 million Nigerians out of poverty within the next 3 years? Ṣó possible? Ẹ bá mi fi sínú comment section. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ darapọ̀ mọ́ Archie ní studio. So tá bá wá ṣetán pẹ̀lú Archie, àwa bẹ̀rẹ̀ títọ̀dọ̀ tiwa. Ṣé Bọ́lá Tinubu ìyẹn president ṣó lè yọ 50 million Nigerians kúrò nínú poverty? Òun ni ìbéèrè tí a máa jọ bára wa béèrè. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí i.
Radio station in London, bringing it down to 6 minutes past 11. The time and Starr UK, the station, the morning show, the program, the last one for the Christmas holidays, and they will resume, as I said, on Wednesday. That'll be 25th, 26th, 27th. Yes, that will come your way. We'll be running up the year nicely. So wherever you are, stay tuned and don't tap the dial whilst I get Mr. Olayemi Koiki, my colleague and co-presenter, onto the platform where he's going to be also telling you everything that is happening from Nigeria. And I'm saying, Yomi, good morning.
Well, a very good morning to you back in the studio, Mr. Archie. Good morning, Frank, and good morning to all our presenters. And good morning to all our listeners around the globe. And welcome to the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. I guess my camera is a bit frozen. I'll work on that as quickly as I can from here. But I can see that it's currently frozen. Let's see if we can bring that back on as quickly as possible. But once again, good morning to you back in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Yes. How are you doing? And how is the family? And how is the preparation? I know that after the kids, when they wake up, every day is Christmas for them. Every day is New Year for them. So, yeah. So, how is the atmosphere like? And then we compare it to, those back home. Because the children don't know whether daddy or mommy have got a means. They expect. So, how is it like?
Well, as usual, depending on which home, because not every home abroad celebrate Christmas, but likewise, some home, especially with the Yorubas, we tend to celebrate whatever comes our way because that is the way we believe, humanity should be. But again, in every household like ours, the preparation is just as normal, where the children expect to be. Even though, whether you say you don't have the gift or not, they expect some kind of gift. But it seems that, this year it's going to be slightly different because, my neighbor sent me a card and says, please do not let us exchange, any kind of, parcel or gift. And I was wondering why, because maybe the cost of living as well has gone up, maybe because of so many other reasons. But like I said, the atmosphere, you can feel it. The family is not home as we speak right now, but it is just like every other household. You have to keep buying and buying. So it's also a time of buying, which so many people could be a little bit strained because of the economic situation, both in Nigeria and likewise here in the United Kingdom.
Well, listeners, Mr. Laimi Koike and North London Studios. I'm actually here in the South Studios and we're bringing you updates from Nigeria at 9 o'clock. 9 past 11. My apologies. It's 11 o'clock. 9 past 11 here in London. All right then. So now let's behind you is a picture of a couple of police officers who were allegedly caught on video demanding money from a Dutch tourist. Now, you know, I do say this all the time that if we take good care of our force, our men, or our forces, let me put it that way, then it will be difficult for them to say that they want to just go and be collecting bribes, because in this part of the world, apart from the discipline, they are at least they are paid well, and then they know that the system decides that they don't need to. They get the support and they do everything. But in Nigeria, I remember back in the day, there was one story where policemen have to buy their own boots. At times, they didn't get their own uniform. So they need everything to make their lives comfortable or to be able to take along. But now, unfortunately, they were caught by the camera. So, Yomi, tell us more.
Well, they were caught by camera because probably they are not aware that we are living in a new world where camera can be hidden in any way, especially, you know, when you see somebody coming from Europeans, as a European, you know, you probably think that, you know, they might not. I believe if we have the right training for officers, you know, the first thing is if you see foreigners, you deal with them just as you would deal with us. Remember that Professor Moyo went to Nigeria and it was quite differently dealt with because he's a Nigerian. But when you are from Europe, you know, and you look different, then you are likely to be said, let's exchange numbers. They're probably not even search this individual, which is something that is even terrible because she might be coming into the country as not a, you know, a good person. We don't say she's not, but let's first listen to the video that you're watching behind me. Let's have the sound clip to start with. She started from Ghana. It seems we thought Ghana is not different from Nigeria, but the only difference is the Ghana police did not ask for money, but they did ask for something. Let's listen to it. We try to get the sound out in just about a few minutes.
I'm going towards Togo.
And your name?
Okay.
Let's start again.
My country.
How are you?
Good, and you?
Happy to meet you today.
Okay.
What are the research for?
I'm going towards Togo.
And your name?
Okay. Norali. Yes.
Like I take your number, then we'll be communicating.
No.
And that is the Ghana police.
No, it's okay. No.
Oh, is it for security reasons? Carry on.
Okay. The number.
Carry on without any search.
Money.
She's now gone to Nigeria.
Money. What? How are you?
Hello.
Hello.
How is everything?
Everything is fine.
From where?
Netherlands.
Eh?
Netherlands.
Now you the call? What do you bring up? See that? Eh? Oh, you where they go?
Abuja.
Abuja? No.
How are you?
Give me something else.
Everything. Everything is fine.
Family.
Huh?
How's family?
Good.
Family is good.
It's water.
Yeah. Give me money. What do you bring? What do you bring come?
Huh?
What do you bring come?
I said, what do you bring come?
What you want give me? Hey, wait now. What you want give me? Oh, give me something. Oh, give me something now. Give me something.
You give me something.
Yeah. Give me money. Money.
Why?
Well, you've listened to it, Mr. Archie. It just shows that we are all in danger, depending on wherever you are, whether you're in Ghana, where you can easily allow a foreigner to pass through. Just give me the number. She refused to give the number, but in Nigeria, they didn't need the number. They needed the money. So the latest update now, the officers are the one behind you right there. They've now been dismissed. According to the report coming from Abuja yesterday, the Nigerian police dismissed officers caught on camera demanding money from a Dutch female tourist. The two officers were consequently stripped off of their Nigerian police uniform to further confirm their exit from the constabulary service. The Oyo command of the Nigerian police has ordered the immediate dismissal of two special constabulary working with the state command who were caught on camera demanding money from a Dutch female biker tourist who was touring African countries. The Oyo Police Commissioner, Adebola Amzat, on Thursday yesterday ordered the immediate dismissal of the two constabulary identifiers, Jimoh Lukman, Karim Fatai, for extortion. The dismissal officer were literally paraded at the Oyo State Police Command, Eleyele, Ibadan, which is the camera, the images behind us. They were literally demanding money, and only God knows why we didn't have enough tourists coming into Nigeria when they will be extorted, because this was what Nigerians have been talking about. But as a lawless country as it is, it seems that we've allowed this to go on for too long until we now start telling them, we will deal with you with hidden cameras.
We will deal with you with hidden cameras. But what about the numerous Nigerians who have not got those hidden cameras? I mean, this one is just like a drop in the ocean. There are people who this morning, because they are driving their vehicles or they are moving goods from one point to the other, have been, I mean, virtually, the monies have been demanded of them illegally. But we see what goes on. And we know that, especially with these festivities, that is going to happen. But interestingly, somebody is been chopping some money, keeping some money, and that is a big one. For the UK only, MFL managed to, stake here, 543 million pounds in fixed deposits in the UK. So what about the others? Because they're talking about how many? About 593 illegal accounts. So if every one of them has got 10 million in the challenge, the man is a billionaire. Yomi, tell me.
Well, it seems that the present Emefiele head is being used as a coconut to break. We have to use his head we got to break his head with the coconut. So, and that's exactly what this new administration has been doing, even though we know that Emefiele is not the only one that has bankrupted Nigeria. I mean, investigators have now come out to say that it seems that we got to find out more about Emefiele, because Emefiele operated 593 illegal accounts from the US to UK to China. This is coming from the Central Bank investigator this morning. The former Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele illegally lodged billions of naira in no fewer than 593 bank accounts in the United States, United Kingdom, and China without approval of the Apex Bank Board of Directors. So it seems that Emefiele was just operating without, the direction from the Board of Directors of the CBN Investment Committee. The special investigator says the CBN and related entities, Jim Obaze, found that the ex-CBN governor lodged about total of about 543,482 pounds in the fixed deposit in UK bank account alone without authorization. When contacted, the counsel of Emefiele, Matthew Booker, senior advocate of Nigeria, asked to send him a text message. He has yet to reply, because probably maybe they're still wondering if we can defend Emefiele now that it seems that more evidence is now being unraveled, with Bola Tinubu saying that it needs to know whatever must have happened in the 8 years of the previous administration that led to the collapse of so many things. As we speak to you this morning, the pound sterling is dancing yo-yo, which is about 1,500 naira to the pound, and is almost about 1,200 naira to the dollar this morning.
Well, interestingly, when was this discovered? Is it that the current president was monitoring the former president Buhari with his moves? So it's quite, because you know that it wasn't like when Buhari left office about 2 months or 3 months later, and they thought Emefiele might have done something, or maybe his deputies might have come up with a file to say he did blah, 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 blah. But whilst he was getting out, just days, then they arrested him. So how did they know?
Well, I mean, according to, the report, it was just after Tinubu became the president, July 28th, there was a sign from the president, Bola Tinubu, had named a former executive secretary of the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, Obaze, as the CBN special investigator. So these literally started just about 2 months precisely after Tinubu became, the president on the May 29th. Emefiele, who is currently in Kuje Custodial Center, is now being prosecuted for 1.2 billion naira procurement fraud. He has not been able to perfect his 300 million naira bill granted by the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory in November 22nd. However, the document that has been obtained yesterday indicated that the former Apex Bank governor might now be facing fresh criminal charges over the handling of the CBN Naira redesign policy as well. So it seems that there's so much as we speak right now on Emefiele, and Emefiele could be prosecuted for illegal insurances of the currency under Section 19 of the CBN Act, alongside Tunde Sabiu, a former aide of the former President Muhammadu Buhari, and 12 top directors of the CBN. It was gathered that the Naira redesign policy was sold to Buhari at the instance of Sabiu, and that the initiative was done without the approval again of the board of the CBN. So it seems that Emefiele became his own cabal right inside the CBN, and they were probably cajoling the former President Muhammadu Buhari, that many of us now realize that it was as a failure because he couldn't understand some of what was happening around him. But it seems that there were some other individuals that were working against, the Nigerians, and today many Nigerians are paying the price of what took place under the nose of Emefiele.
It's quite interesting and sad because if custodians of various entities of government are behaving this way, then that policeman who has been arrested for demanding a bribe from that tourist should be let go. I mean, they should just even give them some money and tell them to go, because those who we put in the helm of affairs, paying them good, they are the same people siphoning the monies. What has been the reaction on the ground in Nigeria?
Well, the reaction of Nigerians are just, to find out how these administration will favor them. I mean, we've been sending out, our correspondent, our sister correspondent have been going back to back, trying to find out what is happening currently. And, from the pepper seller to the fish seller to the palm oil, it is all about, expectation that is high. They all voted for Tinubu, they all voted for this government, and it seems that they are not getting exactly, what the president promised them. Maybe it's just too early, but I will take us through to the next conversation where, one of the ministers that was interviewed yesterday, I actually watched it myself, and she said a lot. How this is going to become, materialistic is something that I will have to wait until the next 3 years of this administration, because they've already done the first 1 year as we speak right now. And that is, 50 million Nigerians will be lifted out of poverty. How is that going to happen? What are the plans? These were all the questions that were thrown out to Betty one-on-one with the humanitarian minister yesterday. As I tried to lie down, what she said, the question as many Nigerians will be asking this morning is, she also talked about so many numbers. She was giving a lot of statistics. She talked about the Nigerians that are now going to be receiving, payment, about 15 million of Nigerians that are currently in that bracket of the abject poverty. We know that they are more than that, but she said that they've been able to squeeze out 4 million from the list from the previous administration. She talked about so many things, but let's listen to some of what she discussed yesterday. Once again, this is still the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, as we continue to give you all the latest update coming out of Nigeria. Let me come back again to you in the studio as I get that line up. She's still, trying to find the actual video where she spoke yesterday, but I'm going to get that up in just about a few minutes. Bear with us, Mr. Archie.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayemi Koike in an offline studios where he's trying to line up that video for you. But when we listen to sad things, it's very sad. It's very, very sad. Now, have you got the audio out now, or we move on?
We move on. When I have that audio ready, I'll let you know.
Okay. The National Economic Council has constituted committees on economic affairs, crude oil theft, and management. Somebody say, hey, this is same old, just another day. Same old, just another day. Let's go back to Yomi. I think you've got the audio bit there.
Yeah, let's listen to the minister, speaking yesterday, regarding these poverty alleviation, which is very, very important. But like I said, so much was discussed in that interview, but we pick as much as what we can. As this morning, many Nigerians will be asking, how am I going to be lifted, and what are the parameters as well, because it's important that the parameters is important. Let's speak on some of what was discussed yesterday.
6 more to go, and some are looking at it as a contradiction or in conflict with the Constitution. But let's follow up and continue to watch how that space plays out eventually. But you can trust us, as it's happening, we'll bring you and bring all the persons involved to talk about this, while we're also keeping our eyes on what's going on in Benue State as far as... I urge you...
Paid about 3.5 million Nigerians 25,000 naira each. Of course, we are out on the field and covering another 4.5 in the next 1 week. So we would have at least altogether, would have close to about 8 million people between now and the end of the year. Immediately after that, we will carry those who are on the expansion list. Remember, he expanded to accommodate the pensioners, he expanded to accommodate the veterans, and we have gotten in their data. A total of 483,000 of them are on that data set. They are presently undergoing their in-person verification, because if we cannot verify who you are, where you are, and that you belong to the poverty, below the poverty line, you are not qualified to be.
Well, that is Dr. Betty Edo speaking yesterday, giving us, numbers. She seems that she's getting those numbers, but the real question is, my family have not been able to get to, receive some of the money that she's talking about, maybe because we are the one looking after them. But she talked about how they're able to work out a lot of strategy that will lift 50 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 3 years.
Now, my question now is, how did they come by that those numbers of people there?
Well, remember that Nigeria, as we know, Nigeria still remain, the capital, the poverty capital of the world this morning. That means they're working with the number from the National Bureau of Statistics, and how they will be able to also find out if 50 million will be uplifted, will be again to look back into those data in the next 3 years, that would then be able to tell us that, as much as they want to lift 50 million out, they must not also allow more to fall back into the trap of poverty as well.
Okay, so how do they identify somebody who is beneath the poverty line? What threshold? What threshold have they got? Is it somebody getting 1,000 naira a month, a year? What is it?
Well, she talked about, there's a lot of ways that have been able to identify who is the most poorest among us, especially, those in the rural area that are struggling, and sometimes, the ex-military personnel as well. So there's a lot of different parameters that have been used. But again, the question is, how do we make sure that most of those that are in these numbers will eventually, she went on further to talk about how we need to make sure that these are not ghosts, because I was reading from Abia State, where some of the doctors that have jackpot are still being paid salary. This has always been the problem in Nigeria. Many Nigerians that have worked, within the government still get paid, even though they are no longer within the system. So vetting and verifying those numbers is the key. And if you can't verify those numbers, then you will also just be paying out money to so many individuals that are criminals as well. So like I said, let's listen to this particular one. This is the actual one I was looking for, and I think I've got it, because this is a little bit much more, that give us the background to some of what she was discussing yesterday. She spoke a lot, but like I said, it is very easy to speak, but the reality is to make sure that this become a big one for many Nigerians this morning. Let's listen again.
Let's take your first question again.
The first question before the issue of the budget, I was saying that you have proposed, the government is proposing multi-sectorally that 50 million people will be lifted out of poverty, or if that's a term you use, and you calculated it by...
which is about 3.5 years. So I'm saying that what exactly are you using as a parameter from where they are to where they should be? And we can now say these 50 million Nigerians out of 200 million Nigerians are now out of poverty. Facts.
So thankfully, late last year into early this year, we had a baseline study by, of course, the National Bureau of Statistics. That's where you have the figures which you have mentioned earlier on of persons who are living on the poverty line, who are affected by multi-dimensional poverty. We also have the MSIC, which is another study that clearly showed the different levels of poverty which is present or prevalent in the country. Now, these studies that were carefully done by the country acts as our baseline. We equally did a start-off on-site inspection and, of course, did a kind of study too, an operational study at the level of the ministry to see exactly where we are and what we are taking off with. Now, at the end of 3 years, we are going to run another study which will tell us if indeed 50 million people have been pulled out of poverty.
Well, you had out there, so that means that this administration is saying this morning that within the next 3 years, 50 million Nigerians will be out of poverty.
Well, it's quite interesting. If they are able to achieve that, that would be very great. But my question, once again, is whatever they are giving to them, is it something that is going to go far enough? And are they going to give them the necessary support? I mean, when I talk about support, I mean guidelines. You say that somebody says they find themselves in this, you are giving them an amount. Are you going to guide them in an investment? Or
oh, yes. She talked about that. I know it's a very lengthy video. She talked about how to make sure that many Nigerians will not be put back into, I mean, whether you're an artisan, to support them, also they're going to be building more homes, 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, especially those within the ID camp, they're going to pull them out. So, I mean, these are very good initiatives, but we will see and monitor, and hopefully within the next 3 years, we'll be able to come back and talk about more of this, when that time comes.
Well, the first year of a president, if he's able to be doing all this or putting all this together, then what do you think? Maybe he will do well. Maybe we need to give him a chance. Or maybe somebody will think that it's too little, too late. But what do you think about that? Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 11:32. Let's go back to Yomi for the rest of the stories making the rounds. Over to you, sir.
Well, still so much, to pick on from on the Friday, as the Friday to the weekend. The weekend, as we're going to be off on Monday, that means that we'll be back, after the short break from the Christmas festival period as well. So much, many Nigerians continue, to ask questions. Baby, one other trapped in a Lagos building collapse is coming up this morning again. At least 3 yet to be identified persons, including a baby and one adult, have been trapped in a collapsed building in Iputemeta of Lagos State today. This just one person has been rescued from the debris of the collapsed one-story building with a penthouse. The director of the Lagos Fire Service, Margaret Adeshaye, disclosed this in a message this morning. So let's hope and pray that these individuals are pulled out as well. Well, as we talked about the Port Harcourt refinery yesterday, remember that the president promised that the Port Harcourt refinery will be up and running. Port Harcourt refinery is now to process 60,000 barrels daily after repairs as well. If I just come off just for a few seconds, please.
Okay. Listeners, just bear with us whilst we take Yomi off a few seconds. Let him sort because we are bringing you all the updates from home. Yeah, he's doing it from home. I'm in the studio though. Yeah, it's Starr Radio UK. That's a good one. It's a good one for the government. I mean, if they are able to do, as Yomi is saying, the Port Harcourt refinery working the way it's supposed to be, then 60,000 barrels refined a day. Well, it's on the daily. So far as at the end of the day, we find out that they have made some profit from there. That would be good for the country, right? Okay, and the sub-region as well. Sami, you, Adeyemi, good morning to you. I hope you are doing very, very well wherever you are listening to us from and getting yourself ready for the Christmas festivities. But go back to Yomi for the continuation of what he was saying. Over to you, sir.
Well, at 34 minutes past 11 this morning, the federal government yesterday announced the mechanical completion of the rehabilitation work on Area 5 plant of the Port Harcourt Refinery Company in Rivers State. It says the first phase of the plant has been completed as the facility will start to refine 60,000 barrels of crude oil just after Christmas. That's going to be about 170 liters of refined petroleum product can now be obtained from the barrel of crude oil. This implies that the 60,000 barrel production from Port Harcourt Refinery can now provide an estimated 10.2 million liters of petrol, popularly called petrol refined product. So we're going to be monitoring that, and see how maybe, just maybe, that would change the price of, petrol within the market, because the most important thing, many Nigerians are paying so much this morning, almost close to 650 naira per liter. So we will wonder whether that would make any difference. The Nigerian army gets a new general. About 112 new generals have now been appointed by the Nigerian army. Remember that, this administration came in with a different tactics to tackle the security. And I can also give us the good news. Those that were kidnapped from between Abuja and Kogi over the weekend, remember, we can now confirm that they've been released. Whether money was paid, I don't have that confirmation, but we know that they've now been released. I've seen some of those videos, and it seems that some of them have been badly damaged as well when it comes to their health from the way they were working. The Nigerian Army Council has promoted a total of 47 brigade generals to major generals. Also, 75 colonels were elevated to the rank of brigadier general. Their promotion is just coming after the retirement of 113 generals as at Wednesday. This is coming from the statement by the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Oyema Iwachuku, said the council literally approved the promotion of the senior officers on Thursday. Well, we are still getting the naira scarcity, Mr. Archie, as I know that this is going to be the most busy weekend, as everybody will be making their way out to buy the final goods, whether in UK, in America, especially those that are celebrated. But the problem in Nigeria this morning is, even though you're sending the money home for your loved ones, they are finding it difficult to get the money out of the POS and the ATM. But it seems that the CBN is taking a very, very big stand on these and is now giving just a strong warning. The naira scarcity, the Central Bank of Nigeria, is now warning the banks, the POS operator, against collusion. The CBN says it has now started investigating reported cases of collusion between the banks and the POS operator. I'm not too sure why that, but it seems as usual, everything goes in Nigeria. As the cash scarcity occasioned by the redesign of the 3 naira note continue to bite Nigerians, about a year after the implementation of the policy, the Central Bank of Nigeria has warned against collusion between the deposit money banks, DMBS, and the point of sales POS operator. This was a statement that was issued yesterday by the spokesperson, Sidi Ali Akama. The Apex Bank said that such collusion was literally affecting the availability of cash, the seamless circulation of the naira in the country. The CBN said it has now started this investigation that it seems that the banks and the POS are capable of undermining the smooth running of the economy. I hope that whenever one of these and individuals of these banks are found, they are going to be punished just the same way we saw those 2 police officers that have now been withdrawn out of service. Because Nigerians cannot be already facing a so much biting economy when those that wants to help cannot even get access to the money that have been sent to. That means that we'll be monitoring this and we'll be reporting back when we come back as well. Cash crunch Ogun becomes the latest APC to join the state to join suit against federal government. The Ogun State governor has filed an application at the Supreme Court of Nigeria seeking to join Kaduna, Kogi, and Zamfara State in a suit against the federal government of Nigeria over the validity deadline of the old 200 and the 500 naira and the 1,000 naira. Already, at least 7 APC states, including Kano, Ondo, Ekiti, have sued the federal government, while Rivers State said it will join the suit against the federal government and the Apex Bank. At 11:30 now, I pick one more, and then we head straight to the social media this morning. Once again, it is still the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, as we continue to wish all our listeners around the world Merry Christmas in advance. Well, again, as we talked about, the security, we talked about mostly, businesses. Like I said, we've been following back to back, the business situation in the country, and many are lamenting and complaining. Well, federal government float scheme to boost cassava production. Cassava is used for so many things. Most importantly, it is used for gari. That is, one of the average food in Nigeria. It's becoming more expensive as well. But this morning, as we go into what the federal government will be doing to support farmers, and as we do know that the reason why we're seeing many backlash, is because the Fulani terrorists continue to drive in their cows into the farms and destroy those that have worked tirelessly, especially in these, very, very difficult terrain. Most of them are not being supported, with the government, but it seems that the federal government says through the same Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, we talked about Dr. Betty just about a few minutes ago, has said that it has now concluded plans to revive the moribund Gari processing factory in Alakpoti village in Ado-Odota, local government area of Ogun State. The ministry, in a statement, declared that the move was in recognition of the agricultural potential of the community, which is the second largest farm settlement in Ogun State, a key producer within the cassava value chain in the southwest Nigeria. According to the ministry, this intervention is deemed necessarily because the community has immensely potentially to be a major supply source of cassava produced to Lagos. The reason why we are not even getting gari in the market is because the same cassava is used by the bureaus. So that means rather than allow the cassava to be transformed into gari, they are using it to produce Guinness, which is again another well drunk drinks that many Nigerians consume. But the question is, would you consume Guinness, or will you prefer gari? So let's hope that this kind of initiative, which was something that was done during the regional government of the late Obafemi Awolowo, where you will be able to supply and you'll be paid, for giving them, these raw materials that would then end up to become, what can be used for. Again, Nigeria leads in cassava palm oil production, the minister is saying. Also, cassava production training for 1,000 ex-militars begins again in 2022. Previous news update. But again, as you can tell, cassava is a very, very interesting, meal that can be consumed if we can able to support the farmers as well. As we go straight into some of the other conversation, we're still more about concern about the poverty level in the country. So I'll pick one more, then go straight into the social media because of the time constraint. The N-Power beneficiaries are now receiving arrears. Again, this is coming from Betu Edu. Betu Edu said payment have now started on Wednesday and we continue to the last period is paid. The federal government has resumed payment of the arrears of beneficiaries of the N-Power program. The beneficiaries were being owed some month's salary by the former President Muhammadu Buhari administration. However, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betty Edu, said yesterday payment of arrears to these beneficiaries have started on Wednesday and will continue until the last person is paid. So it seems that Nigerians, the government is doing whatever they can do to support and make sure that they can stop the poverty level in the country. I'll go straight to the social media where many conversation happens and where many Nigerians, bring out different things that we can look up to so much as we look at what is trending this morning. First and foremost, what I've just picked up is the story of a man that died. Again, as many people died in Nigeria, Dele Giwa died, the Chief Justice Bola Ige died, Tolulope Arotile died, Ayanwola Bamishe died. But this particular one has been, another mystery. And I'm sure when we mention the name in just about a few minutes, many will remember him and many will ask questions wherever and how we have not been able to resolve, his death mystery. The story of Funsho Williams, the man who could have become the Lagos State governor. However, he was assassinated in his home at Dolphin Estate, Ikoyi. The person who did it is still walking free. Again, the question is, how do we resolve, murder cases? How do we make sure that justice is served to not just, the rich, but also to the poor? But it seems that this is, as we know that this is a political killings, because he could have been the governor of Lagos State when we returned back to the democracy, in 1999. But for whatever reason, Funsho Williams is dead. Is still a mystery, and many questions still surround it. So let's look at what Nigerians are saying to the death of Funsho Williams. Funsho Williams attended the St. Paul Catholic School, Ebute Metta, and later St. Gregory College in 1968. He studied at the University of Lagos, attained a degree in civil engineering. He went further to attend New Jersey Institute of Technology. In 1974, returned to Nigeria, joined the Lagos Civil Service. He spent 17 years working on construction projects in Lagos State. Approximately 70% of the roads and bridges were built under his stewardship. He was a permanent secretary by the time he left the civil service in 1991, went into the business, shortly returned to public service, a Lagos State commissioner under Colonel Olugosoye Oyinlola administrator. In the mid-90s, Williams decided to enter politics, and as they say, when you enter politics, everything goes along with it. Funsho Williams was assassinated just as they wanted to assassinate Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho, just as they wanted to assassinate Nnamdi Kanu. The question is, who assassinated Funsho Williams? Let's pick on what Nigerians are saying this morning. The way good people know they live long in this, ironically, his death is one of the baddest fates that have ever happened to real Lagosians. They're supposed to choose a day for him in every year as a remembrance day. A legend like him supposed to be celebrated, but unfortunately, the mafias don't like him supposed to be celebrated. Don't like that to be happening. Again, we pick on one more comment from many Nigerians that are talking about Funsho Williams this morning. And one person also went further to say, Funsho Williams, a Nigerian politician, giving us the background, worked in the public sector, but again was killed. According to Peter Obi, my president, they even celebrate day in, day out. In fact, someone like that would possibly tell you they built Lagos. Funsho Williams will have transformed Lagos and make it stand shoulder to shoulder with cities like Johannesburg and London. And the last one, before I come back to you, Mr. Archie, Nigeria has wasted more brilliant and sound mind and have promoted more thieves like the one in now. You know what I'm saying. I pray a day will come when the brilliant, just and upright people are allowed in places of authority in Nigeria.
Well, interesting updates from there. Listeners, Mr. Lai Koiki. But the question once again is the cassava. Do you want to drink Guinness from it, or you want to eat Gary? Which one will do for you? I want to know what people think. You go drink alcohol, your tummy will be big. You don't eat Gary.
Maybe the Guinness is for those of us abroad. So we allow our people to starve, and then we drink the Guinness, because the Nigerian Guinness is well respected in Europe than the one produced there, because of the the way it has been produced.
Oh, okay. Yes. Interesting. And let me say, Funsho Williams, may his soul rest in perfect peace, and to his family and loved ones too. Condolences to them. A very, very sad one there. But well, we have to round up. Can you wish our listeners a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year? That we'll be resuming on Wednesday, God willing. So we'll take the 27th and 26th, and is it 25th and 26th? So we'll be back on 27th. Yeah.
Well, on behalf of myself, my family, I would like to say thank you so much to everyone that have joined us in the last 12 months, up to when the Christmas is also around the corner. We wish you Merry Christmas as we all celebrate. Let us also remember those around the world, not just in Nigeria, that will be struggling, to have the right, meal for that day. So let us, make sure that whatever we are eating, we eat them in moderate and don't let them end up in the bin, because that is what end up mostly. We buy, and then at the end of the day, it seems that the garbage takes more out of that. So on that note, I'll be back next week when we continue with more update from Nigeria. As I leave you in the hands of the good hands of Archie, I say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance.
Yes, Merry Christmas to every one of you there. Yummy, Merry Christmas to you. But we'll catch up sometime this afternoon or this evening. We'll catch up.
Bye.
Right then. Bye-bye. Okay, listeners, that has been Mr. Olaimi Koiki for you, bringing you all that you need to know when it comes to Nigeria. But we're going to be, as I said, the program was supposed to finish at 12 o'clock, but my producers are giving me another 10 minutes to be able to bring you on.
Okay, I think the speaker is on. Good morning once again. And as we always say, everybody's always looking up to what is going to be discussed and what is the way forward and all that. First, let me first put this out, and I think I should play that to allow that to roll while I just go and prepare one or two things at the back. My name is Olami Koiki. I'm sure many of you by now know my name. If you're watching us, 10 people are watching us. Only one person likes the program. I don't know why. Tabade were live. I'm sure you always want to have us live. So why do you watch the program and you don't like it? You don't share it? I don't understand. You know, we are doing our best, Mukia must be, so that we can be live. You know, I could decide not to go live and just speak to Archie alone. Decided to bring everybody on board. So 36 people are watching on Koiki Media. Only 17 people have decided to thumbs up. So these are not very good, you know. You know, a lot might encourage you so that we can be able to be doing more. If you encourage us, it gives us the, I mean, it's not about just giving us money and praying, but when you come on the platform, especially a platform like this, YouTube pulled out a video that I did again because they don't want us to speak out. You know, they might tell us that we have freedom of speech. You know, these platforms are being attacked back to back. You know, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm going to use this word. I'm sure this place will be very packed up, and that's what the social media platform they love. I don't talk about that because that is not my own cup of tea. They have the right to say it, you know, especially we're all adults on this platform. So if you come on this platform, this is an activist platform. And when it's an activist platform, it has a lot of support that needs from you to get them to know that but if you don't like it, if you don't share it, at the end of the day, you know, it doesn't matter because people I want to on the platform here, you know, they don't say it as serious. So I'm going to first allow us to listen to Professor Banji Akintoye. Actually, he spoke on Wednesday. I didn't pick on that, but I only picked on it yesterday, especially with the update Lori YSDM. So it is for me to clear the air. I talked about it yesterday that Chief Banja Iloge actually left. I've now been told that he has completed his 2 years tenure, and that's the reason why he left, you know, for somebody else to come on board, which is very good if that is the case, according to the constitution that has been set up. So now we're going to listen to Professor Akintoye. Question again around the Yoruba Nation campaign, Mokibubo Yawati and Darapomoa. And when we listen to Professor, then I'll come back. By that time, it's going to give about, I think the interview, I think they cut it, the Yoruba World Media literally cut this section, 60 minutes. It will give me time at the background there. I'll be consuming my breakfast quickly. Then I'll come back. Then we kickstart with our own program as we normally do on this platform. Like I said, there's different platform, different people talking about different things. What we talk about here on this platform is, can Bola Tinubu lift 50 million Nigerians out of poverty? That is the question I'm going to be asking us, and I'm going to be reading your comments. Bola Tinubu, president of Nigeria, Onoma lifted 50 million Nigerians out of poverty. That means we will then have about 150 million Nigerians left after Tobati your 50 million. How he wants to do that, I don't know. We wish him all the best. Is that going to stop the Yoruba people from campaigning for Yoruba Nation? I don't think so. Whether 50 million of us are lifted out of poverty. Buhari said more than that. Maybe Buhari did not want to lift us out of poverty, but Tinubu wants to lift us out of poverty does not mean that the Yoruba Nation campaign is going to stop. That was a question that Baba Akintoye answered in this short interview. You will not be able to see Baba, but you can hear his voice, which is more than enough for those of us that remember and know what Baba Akintoye's voice looks like. So while I'm preparing for that, I'm just changing my background from the green to the Yoruba Nation own what we call our own beautiful flag. Konya, is that a flag? So, well, that is still what we use for now. About the debit and law, we decide whether we want to use red, we want to use purple. This is the one that is allowed for us to use right now, as we say. We don't have the country yet. What we are, is a quest and is a campaign. And campaign can take 3 years, 4 years. It took Tinubu himself 4 years in London before he was able to achieve where he is today. He's currently in Lagos. He will be celebrating the Christmas in Lagos and the New Year. So morale Lagosians, it's the right for the Yoruba people to be excited about Tinubu being the president. But like I always say, Tinubu will lift us out of poverty. Then after, another Gambari man will come and destroy everything that Tinubu has worked for. We know that there's always been a compromise, between the banks, and as we heard in that report, the bank and the POS, they're all criminals. Nigerians are not criminals, but the institution are the one that are mostly criminals as well. They've literally affected many of us, and that is why running a business successfully in that shithole country is going to be very, very difficult. So my job every day is to remind you, you don't have to take it, you don't have to buy it. I don't care. I am 6,000 kilometers away from Nigeria. Whether I talk about Yoruba nation or not, my life, if I manage it where I live, I will be able to live successfully here for the next how many years God wants me to be. But we are concerned because many of you are living in abject poverty. So Tinubu has promised you he will leave 50 million of you. You better start praying. Call on Jackie will not around 50 million here, because I know that it's easy for them to come out and talk about all this, that they will leave 50 million. But we know it's a lie. I don't believe Bola Tinubu, and I'll never trust him anyway. So let's listen to Baba Kintoye to start with. Like I said, it's a 60-minute. You will enjoy it while I'll be doing other things behind. Good morning, good afternoon. If you're new to the platform, this is Koiki Media, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Kudos to the Koiki Media team. They're working back to back. I'm sure many of you are watching some of our new. I told you that we are bringing something new to the Koiki Media. That is exactly what you've started seeing. More interviews, talking to the people, because while I'm here talking, many of you say, hey, Nigeria is working. No, hear from the people on the ground. And that is what we have been doing in the last couple of days. For those of you that are watching us, you will not see all those videos on Koiki Media. Emalati will register the backup channel. Short videos here. If you want to watch what is going on in Nigeria, the latest interview, Eniton Tata, Eniton Tenyi, Eniton Tadis, and we'll be expanding that from state to state, so that we can get what people are saying, so that maybe when I tell them again, we don't need election, maybe they will listen to me. I told you we didn't need election for 2023. Eno mo di kishi di bebere, kalofi lekesi di elomi. Eti lekesi di Bola Tinubu bai. Ejagbo into maso. But before that, Ejakagbo nti Baba Kintoye so regarding questions surrounding this Yoruba Nation campaign and whether YSDM has collapsed or not. I'm coming back. I'll be off my seat for about a few minutes.
Tó bá yá mo máa sọ̀rọ̀ débẹ̀, ṣùgbọ́n mo kàn sì ní kí ní pé ẹ kú foríjì o, ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá. Àwa ò kì í gbé inú àìríjẹ àìrímu bí eléyìí. Ọlọ́run dá wa láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ayé. Ká máa gbé inú rírí jẹ rírímu lálá kó nílé rí jẹ àlejò rí jẹ. That's the philosophy táwọn bàbá wa fi kó ayé jọ. Kó nílé rí jẹ àlejò rí jẹ. But I think that we don't know the Jamon, because we don't have the other. Mokiko was also relaxing for the coupon. To ma and while the Nabucco,
Did you know that the best way to make an extra income on Amazon is not by setting up an online store or selling physical products? So what's the best side hustle right now?
Ní báyìí Yorùbá wọn yàn débi iṣẹ́ mọ́ ṣe àgbà ọ̀lẹ ni. Ìbéèrè àkọ́kọ́ tí màá kọ bàbá léèrè, ìbéèrè ọ̀hún ó sapá kan jà, ó sapá kan janjan, ó sapá kan sórí gangan ni. Ìbéèrè ọ̀hún dá lórí igbákejì tí wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ fi ipò sílẹ̀ nínú YSDM báyìí, bàbá wa Bánjí Ayélóge. Nípa àkọlé ìwé tí wọ́n kọ, àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá béèrè wípé ṣé bàbá ọ̀hún parí ìṣàkóso wọn ni àbí wọ́n ṣe ẹ̀sùn kan tí wọ́n fi yàn wọ́n kúrò ńbẹ̀ torí pé wọ́n rí àkọlé ọ̀hún ẹgẹ́ gbélé tó jẹ́ pé ó yẹ kí bàbá ọ̀hún kó fi dúpẹ́ fún iṣẹ́ ribiribi tí wọ́n ṣe àti àtìlẹ́yìn tí bàbá Bánjí Akíntóyè tí wọ́n ṣe fún wọn, ṣùgbọ́n tó jẹ́ pé níṣe ni wọ́n kọ àkọlé ọ̀hún lọ́nà tó gbà ní ọwọ́ kan ìjánu. Báyìí ni wọ́n ṣe kọ àkọlé ọ̀hún pé the pioneer vice chairman of Yoruba self-determination movement YSDM, Mr. Bánjí Ayélóge, has opted out of the movement following the desire to found a new Yoruba movement, which is expected to comprise of like. Pé ìwé ìròyìn yìí
ṣe o, mi ò mọ reason tẹ́ni tó kọ news yẹn jáde, mi ò mọ reason tó fi kọ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Because nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ láàárín wa ní Yorùbá self-determination movement YSDM, our brother Bánjí Ayélóge did 2 years of meritorious work for Yoruba self-determination. That was a time to get the difficulty was it was a lucky thing that made a man of his caliber, solidity in the work. And the constitution one, with any to like a vice chairman, ọdún méjì péré ló gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe mọ́. Kì í ṣe pé Mr. Ayélóge ṣe é nìbọn Bánjí Ayélóge ò ṣẹ̀ wá o. A ò lè jáde, òun náà ò fìdí ló jáde o. So news rẹ̀ pé opt-out yẹn ẹgbàgbé mi ò ẹni tó kọ̀ ọ̀kọ́ dáadáa. Ọmọ English lò tó bá mọ̀ ọ́ lò àmọ̀ wípé impression tó ń gbé sílẹ̀ ni wípé ó ti bínú kúrò bẹ́ẹ̀ rárá o, kò bínú kúrò láàrin wa o, àwọn náà fìbínú lè kúrò o. Nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé nígbà tí ọdún méjì tí òfin wa sọ pé ó gbúdọ̀ lò tó oṣù bíi méjì láti bí October, ọdún méjì yẹn máa parí ní 18th of December, gbogbo wa la mọ̀. Láti October, the Secretary General ti kọ̀wé jáde pé the Vice Chairman Starr ó fẹ́ end on so date, and therefore gbogbo àwọn organization wa tẹ́ bá lẹ́ni tẹ́ fẹ́ nominate pé kó dípò ẹ̀ nominate yẹn. Oṣù méjì la fi ṣe ètò yìí, ìṣèpé láàárọ̀ ọjọ́ kan gbogbo ayapa fúnra wa rárá lọ́mọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ò ṣẹlẹ̀. So ń gbà tí secretary gbé news yẹn jáde ní October, àwọn organization kan wá nominate àwọn èèyàn wọn, mo rò pé wọ́n ní ọmọ iye ìgbà tó, mo rò pé tó 5-6. Secretary General wá pé àwọn tá à ń pè ní vetting committee, it's the same vetting committee tó ti ń ṣiṣẹ́ láti jọ́ta àti dá YSDM sílẹ̀ 2 years ago. So wọ́n pe vetting committee wá invite gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n nominate wọn yẹn wá sí ìpàdé láti vet wọn ní kọ̀ọ̀kan. Wọ́n sọ fún mi pé ìpàdé tí wọ́n fi vet yẹn ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní kan bí aago 7 lálẹ́ báyìí, aago 4 àárọ̀ ọ̀la ló tó tán. So kì í ṣọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀rìnmọ́rì kankan. Nígbà tí wọ́n lè ṣe tán, wọ́n gbé report wọn fún Secretary General for transmission to the executive. Secretary General dẹ̀ gbé report wá sí executive pé lágbájá ni wọ́n yàn wọ́n. Okay, executive ò ní kankan láti ṣe pé okay meeting council, the whole council, all the organizations represented in the whole council.
Switch to Chrome to load your favorite sites fast, so you can browse with ease. Fast, safe, yours. Get Chrome for Windows.
Èmi secretary yín mo ti ránṣẹ́ síta pé a ní ìdí láti yan vice chairman mìíràn o. Àwọn èèyàn ti nominate àwọn èèyàn wọn o. Vetting committee ti wá jókòó pẹ̀lú àwọn tí wọ́n nominate wọ́n ti select èèyàn kan o. Ẹni náà tán select ní mo ti gbé lọ sí executive o. Executive ti wọ́n ti ní kí n gbé wá síwájú yín the council of the organization. So council dẹ̀ wò àdẹ̀gba ẹni tí wọ́n yàn yẹn. Now, pàtì tí Mr. Ayọ̀gbé ń bẹ̀. Ní meeting executive, eléyìí tí àwọn òyìnbó máa ń pè ní fanfare láti ṣe send-off kan. Kálukú sọ nǹkan dáadáa tán mọ̀ nípa gbogbo bó ṣe ṣe ìrànlọ́wọ́ fún gbogbo bó ṣe ṣiṣẹ́ nínú YSDM and so on and so forth. Nígbà tá a tún wá dé council ó tẹ̀ tún wá pọ̀ jù yẹn lọ fanfare ẹ̀ tún wá pọ̀ jù yẹn lọ. So it was with joy and love and friendliness that we are here. Now, one single word, opt. It's a very terrible choice of words. And it has created a more national defender, you know. No. I know him. I know that he served us well. I know that I'm going to rely upon him. Don't criticize them. Yes, don't criticize them. No. So there is no problem there. We are happy to report to you all. Because the trouble of the new vice chairman, his name is Ola Ademola. He lives in Canada. Only that church. And he's a very loyal member of the Yoruba nation and has always taken part in one aspect of the Yoruba story. So, you know what? I'm not to receive a warrior. In fact, I don't to send àwọn kílé kan tí mo kọ fún wáyé pé ká ṣe báyìí mo ti send ẹ sí mo mọ̀ pé kì í ṣe bá chairman mọ́ but mo ti gbà wípé ara wa lè bí ló mo ti send ẹ sí pé ìkàn báyìí kan plan bó ṣe yẹ ká ṣe nì bí ó yẹ ká ṣe nì àṣọ lẹ́yìn ẹ̀ lánàá so that is the situation ó dẹ̀ sọ kílé kan àti send off fún wọn ni ó sọ kílé kan òun kúrò níṣẹ́ bá chairman o. No, the struggle with you. I don't want to know you. Between the two possible, that's it. One hour ago. That is it. So, because I will come for see that for that, no come. That one. We should get here. It is just the process. With love and peace and friendliness.
Ẹ ṣàdúpẹ́ ntí àwọn ọmọ kóòtù òjìrè tí wọ́n fẹ́ béèrè náà nù ẹ sì ti bá wa ṣàlàyé gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń gbọ́ wa ṣe rí báyìí pé a sọ wípé àárín wa gún bẹ́ẹ̀ la sì nígbà kí àṣetán ó ráyè wọlé sí àárín wa ẹ jẹ́ kí n máa dá ìbéèrè padà sọ́dọ̀ àbáròpọ̀ rẹ̀ kí àwọn náà kí wọ́n gbà á látọ̀dọ̀ mi lókè ọ̀hún.
Ẹ ṣeun mo dúpẹ́ bàbá wa. Àwọn èèyàn ń kí yín ní gbèjégbèjọ àwọn ọmọ yín káàkiri gbogbo àgbáńlá ayé mi kàn lè máa dárúkọ gbogbo wọn ní o bíi Táíwò Bánúsọ, Babátúndé Ọlátúnjí, àwọn orúkọ tó ṣe é pè mọ́yàn lára Sẹ́ríkì, Abdulsalami àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ.
Sọ̀rọ̀ sókè kí bàbá ẹ̀ bá gbọ́ dáadáa.
Ẹ̀yà wọ́n ní ẹ̀mí yín á gùn, wọ́n ní máa kí yín dáadáa o, wọ́n ní kẹ̀mí yín ó gùn o pé àwọn dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀. Bàbá ìbéèrè tí ó wà tó ṣe kejì tá a fẹ́ mú òun leléyìí o. Ìbéèrè kejì náà ni wípé àwọn ọmọ yín ní gbogbo àgbáńlá ayé pátápátá ẹ kúkú mọ̀ pé bímọ tó pọ̀ káàkiri gbogbo àgbáńlá ayé wọ́n ń béèrè pé níbo ni iṣẹ́ tiẹ̀ gbé dé dúró lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation. Àwọn kan tiẹ̀ gbà pé àṣẹ ó dàbẹ̀ pé Yorùbá nation ti kú. Ẹ jẹ́ ká kúkú ní kálukú máa ṣe tí ẹ jàre. Bóyá pa àjà àrí kankan kò sí nǹkan kan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀. Mo wá ní ọ̀dà ẹ̀yin ẹni sùúrù ńgbà tí bàbá wa alànà ọmọ Yorùbá tán bá dé ẹ kúkú mọ̀ wọ́n wọn ó dá yín lóhùn ìbéèrè yìí. Ẹ ṣeun sà, ìbéèrè kejì nìyẹn.
Ẹ ṣe ọmọ dúpẹ́ ìbéèrè tó lè ṣe pàtàkì gan-an ni because ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ máa ń pè ní bàbá ó láti lọ́rọ̀ wọn wá dé àṣọ kì í ṣe èyí nìkan gbogbo àwa tá a wà lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ yìí là ń ṣiṣẹ́ gidi láàárín ìjọsìn tí wọ́n ń ṣe election orúkọ ọmọ Yorùbá wà lára àwọn tí wọ́n ń dìbò fún president Nàìjíríà à ń láti sọ fáwọn èèyàn wa pé kán rẹ̀ lẹ̀ bí ẹ̀kọ́. That's our duty to him. But to mention, the president of Nigeria. So we talk now to the president of Nigeria. No longer to our brother Bola Tinubu. It's still our brother Bola Tinubu, but is more importantly the president of Nigeria. And we have serious problems, serious objections to Nigeria. Iwájú president náà la máa gbé sí. Àti gbé síwájú Buhari torí pé kò kí ń ṣara wa, kò kí ń ṣe democratic inclinations. Ó ti náà wa kò dá wa lóhùn. So now the president wa tuntun, the new president of Nigeria, kò settle our way the same things síwájú ẹ̀. Ìyẹn bẹ́ẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n dúdú yẹn lọ à ń ṣiṣẹ́ náà ó pọ̀ gan ni. Iṣẹ́ ọ̀nà méjì níṣẹ́ self-determination pín sí. Èkíní ká mobilize àwọn èèyàn wa nílé kí gbogbo wọn mọ̀ kí gbogbo ẹ̀gbọ́n gírígírí àlọ́ irúgbà tá a ṣe rálì níjọsí wọ̀nyẹn ìyẹn ìkan. Èkejì ká wá máa bá àwọn ìjọba ayé sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìjọba countries ayé orílẹ̀-èdè ayé wípé à ń lọ adébìnrànlọ́wọ́ yín nǹkan báyìí la fẹ́ kẹ́ ṣe fún wa ní ìjà yìí tá à ń jà àṣọ ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀yẹn is a very big project. Ó tóbi gan-an ni o. Ó tóbi gan-an ni. Ó tó nǹkan tí ò pè tá ní àdébí pípù tá à ń ṣe tá à kì í lè sùn mọ́. Ó tó bẹ́ẹ̀, ó dùn bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ wò. À ń ṣe iṣẹ́ yẹn gidigidi. Mo lè fẹ́ wá tó fẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run fún kinní kan. Àwa Yorùbá Ọlọ́run fẹ́ràn wa púpọ̀. Ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn orílẹ̀-èdè tí a ti ní ìrànlọ́wọ́, àwa ní ọmọ kan méjì kan tó dìde pé àwọn á máa sọ̀rọ̀ lórúkọ wa. That means wọ́n máa wà in contact with us lójoojúmọ́. Wọ́n dẹ̀ máa wà in contact with the government of the country náà lójoojúmọ́. Ìyẹn ń ṣiṣẹ́ lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀. Ẹ̀mí ò lè máa dárúkọ àwọn countries wọ̀nyẹn.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, a nílò àti dárúkọ bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Wọ́n ti sọ̀rọ̀ diplomacy confidentiality tó ga ní. Mi ò lè lọ síbi ìgbésọ̀ pé country báyìí sọ báyìí sí wa, country báyìí wọ́n rẹ́ẹ̀dì láti ṣe fún wa, mi ò lè sọ. Wọn kì í ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ní diplomacy. Mo fẹ́ fi yé ẹni pé àwọn ọmọ wa tó ń ṣe wàhálà tó ń jí láàárọ̀ tó máa lọ bá ìjọba tó máa lọ bá mínísítà tó máa lọ bá pírẹsidẹ̀ntì tó máa lọ ṣe gbogbo wọn yẹn They are performing miracles. And our struggle is moving forward abroad. Chile, I think, padà sí I think padà sí I think ṣètò lẹ́nu lọ́nà tó ga jù ti tẹ́lẹ̀ lọ. Every part of Yoruba land will feel ẹlẹ́ òfin sọ̀rọ̀ pé àwọn tá a fẹ́ràn Yorùbá nation nìkan ẹ jáde ẹ wá lọ rálì ní Èkó ẹ lọ ṣe rálì ní Ìbàdàn rárá wa ti kọjá irú mi lẹ́nu. Nǹkan tí wọ́n máa wá ṣe báyìí tó jẹ́ pé gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ló máa gbà ló ìṣe pé wọ́n máa mọ̀ gbogbo wọn ló máa wà nínú ẹ̀ kájọ máa ṣe lè.
Hello, good morning and welcome. Gbogbo alágbọ́n nǹkan tí bàbá wa alànà sọ ẹ jẹ́ kí n kakọ̀ra ju nǹkan kékeré ṣe kí n fi parí custard àti mince pie ní kò ń ṣe nǹkan tó jẹ́ big deal. So Bọ́lá Tinubu ti náà máa yọ yín kúrò nínú poverty 50 million. So mo ń bọ̀ níbẹ̀ mo kí ẹ easy mo kí gbogbo ìyá wa tẹ̀sí wọlé ìyá wa Lájùmọ̀kẹ́ gbogbo náà ni máa kí dáadáa èmi ọmọ yẹn ni. So ẹ jẹ́ wá nǹkan kákọ̀ play kí n fi padà wá. So tí bá máa fi padà dé yẹn òye nísìn àwa bẹ̀rẹ̀ ètò tiwa ẹ mọ̀ pé tinú dẹ̀ nìyẹn máa fi gbé tìta mo ní strength all the time mo ní the strength yẹn gan. Excuse me. I think I should play ti Nnamdi Kanu tí mo máa ń play tí mo play lánàá. I prepare to Nnamdi Kanu.
Choosing Iraq when your house is on fire. Nigeria needs a revolution or else. Nigerians must understand that unless something drastic happens, we cannot have elections that are won on the basis of ideas. As things stand in Nigeria today, our successive governments have destroyed the basis for any progressive politics. You cannot have a country where young people who are brilliant, who have ideas, are told to run for councillors, while people with antiquated ideas are recommended to be presidential candidates. And even they become president. That's why the country is the way it is today. Unless a revolution happens in this country, same way they had in Sudan, probably in Nigeria, it's going to be difficult to have free and fair elections. I am saying it so that we're not under any illusion that somehow, if we continue to talk, it's not a battle of wits, that the democratic space will open for us to have a country where good people, great ideas can lead the country. As we chanted during our recent protest march in Maryland area of Lagos, in Nigeria where just 5 people will be richer than 200 million people, call it work. In Nigeria where your NEPA bill is greater than your house rent, call it work. To the skeptics who say Nigerians are too apathetic and divided to rise up for a revolution or up to a revolution, I said this, hunger doesn't know ethnicity, insecurity doesn't know religion, and when Nigeria becomes a better place, it won't matter where you come from. The time for revolution is now, and it will not be televised.
One, they televise it. I just go one more of this and then we'll kickstart our own program.
People must understand the rage that is boiling within us. You must understand how angry we are. We will look normal to you, but we are very, very angry, believe me.
Very, very angry.
And by the time we are done with Nigeria, the name won't exist. That I can assure you. People must understand the rage that is boiling within us. You must understand how angry we are.
They are very, very angry.
Normal to you, but we are very, very angry.
Very, very angry. The Biafrans are very, very angry. They might look normal to us, but they're very, very angry. Thank you so much, Nnamdi Kanu, for that. I say good morning, good afternoon, depending on what part of the globe you're watching me. My name is Olami Koike, call Koike Media, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. My job is to educate and to make sure that we bring you up to speed of some of what is happening in that shit old country you call Nigeria, a country where officers are not taken care of and they ask for bribe from a tourist, a country where a professor travels to Nigeria, he was almost killed, but he was saved by the Igbos. A country where, many atrocities will continue And those atrocities would not stop until every one of us say enough is enough. Mo wo gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tó ń dunnú pé Aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Tinubu ló wà níbẹ̀. And on that reason, they refuse to even want to participate in this movement. Àwọn kan tẹ́ sọ pé kò sí tó kàn wọ́n, because at the end of the day, whether ó kàn yín kò kàn yín, I pray that you will not be beaten or affected by Nigeria. It's just a matter of time. But one day, history will judge every single one of us in the role that we play, in this quest and campaign for Yoruba nation. As you can see, this is my own brand that I've decided to sacrifice for this platform called Yoruba Nation Campaign. Tó bá jẹ́ pé àwọn elite wa, àwọn tó ní jù àwa lọ, àwọn tó nímọ̀, if they're also doing what we are doing, it will make it easy for us. But they're not, because as far as they're concerned, they are thinking that one day Nigeria will just be, boom, a great country, and it will work for every one of us. If you're thinking in that direction, I beg you, start thinking otherwise, because that shithole country will collapse. Ọ̀nà tó máa gbà collapse ni àìtí really identify whether it would be done peacefully, whether it will be done violently, whether it will be done by arms, whether it will be done by diplomacy, whether it will be done by Nigerians to say they're tired and they're going to react. Nobody knows. And if you're one of those that will be going towards the crossover night and you want to pray for Nigeria, well, you could pray for it to dissolve peacefully, but praying that Nigeria should remain existent, you are wasting your bloody hell time. So what we can pray for is that Nigeria should dissolve in a way that it will not have big impact on our lives. When Soviet Union collapsed, there was not much killings as many people would have expected, because as at the time, the senior Bush in 1989 allowed a free fall of Soviet Union. Oh, that's all right. So one day, you look on it, that's all. It could be UK, it could be China, and they will literally just overlook it and allow Nigeria to fall. And it will fall very fast that Nigerian government will not be able to curtail it. Let me tell you, I have said this so many times. Gbogbo security in Nigeria ni kò tó population Lagos State. Gbogbo weapon tó ní pátápátá kò lè pa gbogbo wa ká tó stop wọn. Gbogbo weapon tó wà lọ́wọ́ wọn, gbogbo nǹkan ìjà tó lè ní pátá kò lè pu àwa àtàwọn tá na fẹ́ lọ. Kò lè stop wọn. Ó kàn máa bring collateral damage. Collateral damage ohun tó ń lọ ní Middle East, ẹ lọ ohun tó ń lọ between Russia and Ukraine. Everybody will build those things back. But for now, àwọn méjèèjì nǹkan kan ló ń jà fún ní region méjèèjì tí mo dárúkọ yẹn. Àwọn kan ń jà fún kankan, àwọn kan náà ń jà fún kankan ni. So ìjà pé ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ ogun la mọ̀ àmọ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ogun kó gbogbo ẹ̀kọ́ ẹsẹ̀gbẹ́ kan. Àwọ̀ pè fogun. Kò sẹ́ni kankan tó ń pè fogun. But nígbà tí revolution máa bẹ̀rẹ̀, nígbà tí anarchy máa bẹ̀rẹ̀, nígbà tí stopover yẹn máa bẹ̀rẹ̀, something will be affected. Àwa kan lè má lè lọ́lé for a very long time. It could even last for the next 6 years again. Ṣé tí military bá gbàjọba, ṣé ẹ̀ ní react, àkọ́tù jókòó. Tó bá dẹ̀ gbàjọba, Tinubu náà máa kó yín kúrò nínú oko ẹrú. Èwo lẹ̀yin fẹ́? Mr. Koiki, come back home. Orí ò pé, mò ń bọ̀ nílé, èmi ni mo máa dúró dè. Orí pé mi ti jẹun. Èmi bẹ́ẹ̀ mi ṣe máa ronú nísìn, bí ṣe máa tọ́jú family mi. But mo wá fi gbogbo yẹn sílẹ̀. Mo ń wo pé, okay, tèmi bá ní èmi wà okay níbi tèmi wà, which I am very, very okay. Mo ní ìwé yìí, mo ní right láti ṣe tí mo bá fẹ́ ṣe títí set up business. Kódà business mi gan, wọ́n fún mi ní advice pé má ṣe business lọ Nàìjíríà yẹn because kò ní òfin tó lè support ẹ̀. O lè ṣe business lọ sí ìlú mi. Ẹbí mo ṣe lọ sí business event. Gbogbo ilẹ̀ kúkú rí ni ara nǹkan tí mo gbà bọ̀ níbi tí mo lọ lélẹ̀. Kódà wọ́n fi mí ṣe partnership ṣẹ́rí àpolówó oògùn ṣorí bá ṣe máa ń rà nìyẹn tá máa fi ránṣẹ́ sẹ́yìn tẹ́ wà nílé kẹ́ má bàa kú torí ìtàn tà fún yín àwọn ọmọ Ìgbò ti lọ kó fake wá tó àwọn lówó lọ́wọ́ láti ṣe fake nítorí fi pa ìyá Dora nìyẹn woman nìyẹn sórí ibuprofen paracetamol bàbá ti lọ sí store bá ṣe máa mu ní méjì mẹ́ta sórí àná àwọn family nílé èmi ò ní jẹ́ kí family mi lọ ra paracetamol tí ó jẹ́ pé fake tó kó wálé kó má bàa pa wọ́n dànù nǹkan mi kékeré ló máa lò akọ pa dànù akọ kú tẹ́ akọ kú bam akú dànù but àwa ta ní family nílé ṣé gbogbo èèyàn ni mo lè ra paracetamol fún ṣé gbogbo èèyàn ni mo lè ra ibuprofen fún tèmi bá lè tọ́jú àwọn family tèmi because wọ́n ń lo oògùn Nàìjíríà bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ìtọ́ bá lè lò ní Nàìjíríà at least ìtì bá lè rà ní bíbáyìí màá bá wọn rà bó ṣé mo lè rà fún wọ ṣé mo lè rà fún tọ̀hún ṣé mo lè rà fún tọ̀hún nígbà táwọn gbòógì company tán kúrò so àwa ní right ìgbádùn tá à ń gbádùn ní bíbáyìí àwa wá wò pé ẹ̀yin jìyà but nítorí pé ọmọ òde òní ṣèdí bẹ̀bẹ̀rẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ẹ wo gbogbo ẹ máa mu fake drink lẹ́ mu ní Nàìjíríà thank you so much easy life fún kọ̀tẹ́sán yẹn ní Abia àwọn ọmọ Ìgbò yẹn mọ̀ nípa fake kò sẹ́ni kankan tó lè bá mi sọ yẹn ìyẹn mi pé torí pé gbogbo àjọ ń ṣe Yorùbá nation àwọn ń ṣe Biafra níta bá máa sọ títọ́ a máa sọ títọ́ nípa fake Ìgbò mọ̀ nípa fake but nípa ritualist Yorùbá ló mọ̀ nípa yẹn ẹ máa sọ fún mi pé Ìgbò ló ń ṣe ritualist àwa là ń ṣe àwa là ń ritualist dáàdì kan pè mí lánàá wọ́n ní Mr. Koiki mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ gan wọ́n ní tẹ̀ send account number wá wọ́n tún béèrè nọ́mbà yẹn kan mọ̀ nísàn yẹn kí n bẹ́ẹ̀ fi kankan síbẹ̀ wọ́n náà máa kéré omo nìkan ó kéré lahùn bẹ́ẹ̀ tẹ̀ fún wa àti ẹni tó fẹ́ fún yàn nìkan wọ́n náà ti wà nílùú yìí láti 1980 or 1978 somewhere around the so àgbàlagbà ni wọ́n and these are people that should have returned back home àwa sọ̀rọ̀ so ìwọ tí ò ní Nàìjíríà máa stable ó máa fine bí Dubai ó máa dàbí ti Amẹ́ríkà ọmọ òun tán rẹ̀ ṣọ́ra àwọn olóṣèlú yẹn bàbá olórí burúkú ni wọ́n èpè ní máa fún gbogbo wọn láàárọ̀ ẹ̀yin kọ́ ni máa fún lépè o ẹ̀yin citizen because àwa àjọ wà ní the same ni èmi àti ẹjọ́ wà ní same ìyà tó ń jẹ̀wọ́ ló ń jẹ̀ mí náà torí pé tíyà ò bá jẹ mí mo ní kúrò ní Nàìjíríà ní 1998 torí mọ̀ sí tèmi rí future ni tó bá mọ̀ 1998 mo ti kúrò Nàìjíríà ó ti pẹ́ kẹrẹ́ ìtẹ́sẹ̀ ń dé ẹ̀jọ̀ máa bọ̀ láàbùrọ̀ àjọ máa gbé níbí báyìí ṣọ́ra àwọn Ìgbò àwọn mọ̀ nípa fake but ìjọ ta bá ti gba country tá ti ní system tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ lóòótọ́ Lagos state náà capture àwọn kan ní Lagos ó ní mọ̀ bí tó ti mú wọn tó ń ṣe ẹ bá tẹ̀rí ibi tó ti ń ṣe àwọn product yẹn so gbogbo yẹn it's still a government in place ni ẹ jẹ́ kí government máa ṣiṣẹ́ tó yẹ kó ṣe lọ iṣẹ́ Sanwó-Olú ni pé kó make sure pé ó protect yín ó provide the good governance àìkúkú tí gba government tiwa tá a bá ní government tiwa nísìn àwọn nǹkan tó máa kọ́kọ́ já mọ̀ pé a ní òfin ni pé constitution wa wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ draft constitution yẹn tí gbogbo wa máa rí tá a máa kà á lédè Yorùbá tó máa favour wa tó ń ṣe olórí burúkú constitution tó gbé gbogbo ilé lọ́wọ́ nísìn tẹ́ ń pariwo tínú yín dùn pé Bọ́lá Tinubu jagaban on your mandate tẹ́ ń parọ́ fúnra yín on your mandate tẹ́ ń parọ́ fúnra yín because ẹ mọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ pé on your mandate ò lè gbé yín lọ sí nowhere but ó dá bẹ́ẹ̀ pé alọ́mọ Yorùbá níbẹ̀ ká tẹ̀ sáwọn Haúsá náà lójú bí olórí burúkú làwọn yẹn àwọn ti gbádùn presidency for a very very long time wọ́n lo àyè yẹn wọ́n fi gbádùn ayé àwọn ọmọ wọn gbádùn ìyàwó gbádùn girlfriend gbádùn so tí wọn náà bá lẹ́ni tó mọ àwọn tó wà ní gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì nísìn ọmọ tètè jẹ́ kó bẹ́ẹ̀ fix fáìlì tó ti ń wá bó ṣe máa sort out ìyẹn ni bàbá Akíntóyè sọ mọ́rọ̀ níbẹ̀ yẹn táwọn kan níyẹn bàbá Akíntóyè endorse Tinubu no Àtíkù ni kò bá endorse àti Peter Obi tó bá tẹ endorse Tinubu kò mí pé ihun tí Tinubu fẹ́ làwa fẹ́ because bíyá Tinubu ó lè ṣe ọ̀nà yẹn ìyẹn wá kù sí Tinubu lọ́wọ́ tó bá wá ṣe yẹn máa dá ìrìn àjò dúró kò lè dá dúró ó lè pẹ́ ni ìrìn àjò yóò lè dúró Nigeria máa collapse it could be in the next 30 years ni Nigeria ò lè sustain another 60 years wà láìtàláì símọ́bìláì làzíláhùwà kò lè sustain ẹ̀ bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ ẹ̀ because ara ni aráàlú Tinubu ò dẹ̀ lè fix the problem yẹn for 7 years ó wá ń parọ́ mo rí Betty Edu tó ń sọ ìbú pàpàpàpà pòpòpòpò mo farabalẹ̀ gbọ́ program yẹn kí n tó sùn lánàá lórí Channels television ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń sọ gbogbo ẹ̀ ó ní Tinubu ó máa elevate poverty. Àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà wọ́n máa kó poverty kúrò lára yín, ẹ̀yà ò ní jẹ yín mọ́. Wọ́n á ní bó bá ohun Tinubu, ẹ sọ fún Tinubu, ẹ ránṣẹ́ sí Ṣèyí Tinubu ọmọ ẹ̀ kó bá ń sọ fún bàbá rẹ̀. Ó ti wà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ báyìí nísìn. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá wọ̀nyí aláṣẹ́wó, ẹ jẹ́ lọ súnmọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀, má bínú ẹ̀yin mọ́mì wa fún ọ̀rọ̀ tí mo sọ yìí. Ẹ súnmọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ torí àwọn boys wà ní gbogbo body law nísìn, wọ́n máa ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá jẹ́ sisi ológe, ẹ níṣẹ́ níwèé, ẹ wọ pátá, ẹ wọ bra, ẹ lọ síbẹ̀ kẹ́ lọ dúró síbẹ̀ kọ́ máa gbé yín, kọ́ máa fi ń ṣòṣì. Ẹ̀yin fine girls, ẹ̀yin fine mothers, ẹ̀yin ìyá tẹ́ ń fowó ṣòwò, ẹ wá dẹni tó fẹ́ lọ wá torí Tinubu ti wà níbẹ̀ nísìn, ó dẹ̀ ti wà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ nísìn, ẹ fẹ́ lọ gbé ara, ẹ fẹ́ gbé láwọn bàbá yẹn. Ṣé bí àwọn ìyá tiwa ṣe níjọ́ náà lọ́nà yẹn? Àwọn ìyá tiwa ṣòwò ni wọ̀rì láìlé pé ó dìgbà tọkùnrin kan bá wọn sùn. Ìsín nísìn gbogbo ilẹ̀ wọ́n tó máa bá yín sùn kẹ́ tó lè ṣe ibi tẹ́ ń lọ. Àwa ń pariwo pé kí nìdí gan tí Yorùbá gbọdọ̀ fi kúrò ní Nàìjíríà? Ṣé Nàìjíríà tẹ́ wa lọ́rùn ni? A ní kò tẹ́ wa lọ́rùn. Tinubu wá ní ká má wọrí pé ó máa tẹ́ wa lọ́rùn pé because gbogbo tó ń dùn wá lọ́kàn lòun máa ṣe. Mo ní yes, government nìyẹn ní tó bá wọn ẹni kó ṣe, because right ẹni láti ṣe ní ta fẹ́ kó ṣe. Wọ́n ní kó ṣe títì, kó ṣe omi, agriculture. Ìyẹn ò wá dá ìrìn àjò Yorùbá nation dúró. Tó bá àwọn Tinubu kódà tó bá àwọn kó sọ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, kó sọ di London, a máa pín Nàìjíríà gbọ́dọ̀ pín ni. Àìmá pín Nàìjíríà àṣe orí burúkú ló fẹ́ ṣe wá nìyẹn. A dẹ̀ fẹ́ jẹ́ kó orí burúkú ṣe wá because identity yẹn gangan ni problem. A fẹ́ wà recognized as any shit hole country kankan tó ń pè Nàìjíríà. Ìlú lórí burúkú ni tí kò ní ṣàǹfààní, tí Lugard àtàwọn tó kóra wọn jọ tó fi fọ́ọ̀mù ẹ̀. Because wọ́n fọ́ọ̀mù ẹ̀ ni wọ́n dẹ̀ dí ifá nígbà tó fẹ́ fọ́ọ̀mù Nàìjíríà. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n lọ sí church, wọ́n dẹ̀ lọ sí ilé mọ́ṣáláṣí. Má wàá sọ fún mi pé Ọlọ́run ló create Nàìjíríà. Torí orí ò pé kò sí Ọlọ́run kankan tó create Nàìjíríà. Ìyẹn ni àdúrà gan ṣe gbà bó ṣe jẹ́ kó gbà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, nítorí pé irọ́ la gbé dání pé Ọlọ́run ló create Nàìjíríà. Gbogbo àwọn babaláwo mọ̀, àwọn oníṣègùn mọ̀, àwọn àfáà mọ̀, àwọn wòlíì mọ̀. Olórí burúkú wọ́n wá ń sọ fún gbogbo wa pé ká máa pe Ọlọ́run lórí Nàìjíríà. Èyí tó yẹ ká máa pe Ọlọ́run lórí ilẹ̀ Yorùbá kí àṣeyọrí lè máa wá. Ní Ọ̀ṣun state as an example, ní Ọ̀ṣun state a ní gold tó pọ̀. Ẹ tó bá wo fídíò kan tí mo play, tí mo send lánàá, màá wo bá lè play fídíò yẹn, mo post ẹ lọ lórí Vantage ni bèbí yẹn ti sọ̀rọ̀. Ó sọ̀rọ̀ nípa diamond. Táwa ọ̀bá tẹ̀ ní diamond, torí mo mọ̀ bí a ní diamond ní Nàìjíríà, mo mọ̀ pé ó wà ní South Africa, but I don't know whether we have diamond or not. Tó bàtà bá ní ẹ bá ń fi sínú comment section kẹ̀dẹ̀ sọ state tó wà, torí tí yàn bá mọ̀ èèyàn gbọ́dọ̀ máa sọ. But mo mọ̀ pé a ní gold nítorí pé mo ní evidence nípa ọ̀rọ̀ gold yẹn. Kò ṣe pọ́ sọ fún mi ni bó ṣe ń wẹ̀. Ṣẹ́rí Emefiele, Tinubu gbọ́dọ̀ fọ́ central bank yẹn sí wẹ́wẹ́ kó tó di pa máa pín Nàìjíríà. Olórí burúkú làwọn máa là yẹn, wọ́n ti fi wá jẹun bí wèrè. Ẹ gbọ́ gbogbo tí Emefiele ṣe, ẹ gbọ́ gbogbo tó ṣe. Èmi mọ̀ because central bank ló ń gbé gold wá sí airport tó fi ń ship ẹ̀ jáde pẹ̀lú Turkish airline almost every week. Evidence yẹn wà lọ́wọ́ mi. Ọ̀ṣun state ló pọ̀ jù níbi tó ti ń gbé raw gold yẹn wá. Mo mọ̀ bóyá wọ́n sọ fún ọba Ilé Ifẹ̀ pé nílé Ifẹ̀ ń bíbá yo à ń wa góòlù. Èmi ò lẹ́vidence yẹn. Oríṣiríṣi láti gbọ́ ìtìyàn ọba lẹ́vidence, but evidence pé níbo ni gold yẹn ti ń bọ̀ kò ń ṣe Zamfara. Àwa ní gbogbo nǹkan mìíràn. Àwa ń ṣòṣì bí ẹran aṣẹ́wó, ẹ má bínú fún èdè yẹn. Èmi àti yín àwa ń ṣe wàhálà káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé. Àwa lọ jókòó sí àwọn ìlú tó yẹ ká má jókòó sí. Àwa ń bẹ̀ for 25 years. Àwa wọ jeans káàkiri, àwọn Nike káàkiri. Ẹlòmíì àwa ra Mercedes, ara Nissan. Àwa náà ti arrive nígbà tó yẹ ká wà lórí ilẹ̀ wa. Kọ́lọ́ máa dá wa síbẹ̀, ká máa ṣe nǹkan mèremère, ká wá máa travel wá sí lóyìnbó, ká wá kí àwọn olóyìnbó náà, ká lọ sí Trafalgar Square. Báwọn tó bá dé Central London lẹ́ni, wàá rí àwọn ọmọ Arabs ìtútọ́ ń pa níbẹ̀. Wàá máa rí àwọn ọmọ Arabs, wàá máa béèrè pé ṣé ayé táwọn ilé wa ṣé wọ́n ní káwa náà máa wà rú ayé yẹn ni. Àwa rí àwọn òmùgọ̀, ẹ̀yin idiots lẹ́ẹ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan ẹ̀ wá máa sọ jágbajàgba torí pé ẹ̀ ní làákàyè pé òyìnbó mọ tó ń ṣe. Mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Yẹmí Fátókí, Akeem Ayọ̀délé, mo kí bàbá wa. Àwọn òyìnbó wọ́n mọ tán ṣe wọ́n dẹ̀ mọ̀ dáadáa nítorí pé wọ́n mọ̀ pé ìjọ tí ìran Yorùbá bá ti lè bọ́ kúrò nínú wàhálà táwọn fi wá sí ìjọ yẹn ni àṣìṣe ti dé bá wọn. Ṣé àwa ló yẹ ká ṣìṣe dé bá àbáwọn? Ìbéèrè tó yẹ kó kọ́kọ́ máa béèrè ẹni yẹn. Ta ló yẹ kí àṣìṣe dé bá? Nítorí pé Elédùmarè sórí ẹ̀jẹ̀ tó ń ràn lára tèmi òun náà ló ń ràn lára tiẹ̀. Àwọn ti wá fẹ́ compromise ẹ̀jẹ̀ yẹn gan sef nítorí pé a ti wá rí pé ẹ̀jẹ̀ ti ń dilute àwa mẹ́ni tó jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá gangan mọ́ nítorí pé that is a part of the game plan. Àwa ń sọ fún yín pé kò ń sọ̀rọ̀ Tinubu máa elevate 15 kíní kan kódà tó bá wọn Tinubu ó sọ gbogbo Nàìjíríà pé kó má sí poverty mọ́. Ìyẹn ò dá pé ìrànjẹ Yorùbá nation dúró. They can be telling lies to the gullibles at home. Àwa mọ̀ pé the only option on the table is to collapse Nigeria and let us move further. Mo máa ń wà lórí program. Yeah, definitely we still have a country called Nigeria. There's a country called Nigeria. So I expect you to be using the word I am a Nigerian. Mo wà lórí page kan ọmọ Igbo ni bìbí náà ó wà ní Japan. Àwọn ọmọ Biafra wá sọ fún pé I am a Biafran. Oníṣẹ́ pálí Biafra ló fi dé France, which she's very right to say that. Only right because as we speak right now, Biafra ò tí ní government wọn ní passport tí wọn láti fi travel, and tó o bá ní passport ìlú mi ó sì máa lo passport in Nigeria. So because that is the reason why we are saying that Nigeria is still existing, especially ẹ̀yin idiot, ẹ̀yin mugumu tẹ́ ń sọ pé ẹ ti gba country. Ẹ̀yin ẹ ti gba country ẹ lè lo passport in Nigeria kẹfì ọpẹ ló mọ ẹ wá lọ lo passport Yorùbá nation tẹ́ ń sọ pé ti gba Yorùbá nation country níbo lẹ ti gbà sí ọ̀nà bó lẹ gbà sí. So tẹ́ bá fẹ́ travel nísìn lọ sí Nàìjíríà ṣé passport Yorùbá nation lẹ máa fi dé Nàìjíríà ni lẹ máa fi padà sí Yorùbá country ni àbí báwo? This is the reason why we are saying ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation kò ń ṣọ̀rọ̀ tíyàn fi ń tayín rárá. Ọ̀rọ̀ tó important ni tíyàn gbọ́dọ̀ lò làákàyè lé lórí. Lóòótọ́ ohun àkàgbà lẹ́nu nígbà tẹ́lẹ̀ sọ pé ẹ fẹ́ jà ìjà ló lè stop Nigeria within the next 24 hours. Ẹ dẹ̀ ti sọ pé ẹ̀ níjà, that means pé ẹ máa ṣe ní pẹ̀lẹ́pẹ̀lẹ́ kẹ̀tùkẹ̀tù títí tá máa fi débi tá à ń lọ tí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yọ máa fi wá gbọ́. Táwọn èèyàn bá ti wá gbọ́ olúkálùkù wa máa wá react. Ẹlòmíì sì máa react ju èmi lọ lọ́rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀ yìí. Ó lè má tó nísìn, ó lè jẹ́ another 10 years. Nígbà táwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n mi George Akínọlá nígbà táwọn bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sọ̀rọ̀ ní 2017 ṣe rí pé reaction tí wọn ó yàtọ̀ sígbà tèmi máa jáde torí nígbà tèmi máa gbọ́rọ̀ Yorùbá nation èmi ò bá wọn mu ní kékeré. Kò ń ṣe pé gbọ́n mi George Akínọlá náà ó mu ní kékeré. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́n tó sọ níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn ìyẹn ẹ̀gbọ́n wa George Akínọlá ní Adámàsìgbà ní 2017 ló ń pariwo pé ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀ yìí kò ń ṣọ̀rọ̀ restructure àti ọ̀rọ̀ restructure kan. Mo rí bàbá Adébánjọ àwọn bàbá yẹn kọ́lọ̀ kó túbọ̀ lẹ́rọ̀ mi gbogbo yín kí bàbá yẹn sì máa lọ patí at that age ohun wọn lọ ṣe ń lọ lóòótọ́ but tó bá ń dúró de bàbá Adébánjọ pé òun ló máa gba Yorùbá nation fún ẹ òun ló máa fún ẹ ní restructure tó tètè súnmọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation tá a mú dání àwọn bàbá yẹn máa jayé tó máa fi kú ni. Bàbá yẹn logi sẹ́pẹ̀ báyìí wọ́n mú dání báyìí wọ́n lọ sí patí kan ẹ lọ sórí Délé Mọ̀mọ́dù support Yorùbá nation. Àwọn máa jayé kú ni àwọn elite wa nìyẹn tí wọ́n ò ní fẹ́ jẹ́ kí Yorùbá nation kó tètè bọ́ sí because kò jẹ́ kí irú àwọn bàbá Adébánjọ at 95 kọ́ sì máa sọ pé ní tó bá mú bàbá Akíntóyè at 88 bàbá Adébánjọ ju bàbá Akíntóyè lọ. Bàbá ṣé bàbá Adébánjọ kó lè kọ́ ní ẹ má bínú bàbá wa ẹ mọ̀ pé mo ti rí yín dáadáa kò ṣe pé mo fi ọ̀rọ̀ sọ sí yín ṣé kò ṣe pé ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹ́ nílàákàyè ju bàbá Akíntóyè lọ because wọ́n ní ẹni tó bá dàgbà ló yẹ kó nílàákàyè. Èmi ò wá rò pé ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń béèrè fún restructure ó yẹ kí gbogbo wà lójú kan nísìnyí ká máa béèrè lọ́wọ́ Tinubu pé ọmọ òdì ṣèdí bẹ̀rẹ̀ a fẹ́ Yorùbá nation fún wa ní Yorùbá nation honest a máa declare Yorùbá nation fúnra wa. Àwa ṣe yẹn àwọn bàbá yẹn ṣì wọn lọ patí ẹ lọ sórí Délé Mọ̀mọ́dù page lánàá wọn wo bàbá yẹn pé ṣáwọn tí a máa dúró fún restructure náà lélẹ̀ at 95 ó mú igi sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ báyìí igi mẹ́ta òfin ó ti hold báyìí wọ́n di bàbá yẹn mú báyìí wọ́n sì ń lọ patí àwọn bàbá yẹn ni wọ́n wá ń dúró dè máa dúró dè wọ́n àwọn bàbá yẹn àtàwọn ọmọ wọn àtàwọn grandchildren wọ́n lè máa wò mí báyìí they are living a better life than me and you. Now nígbà tó di 2017 ẹ̀gbọ́n mi George Akínọlá àwọn jáde níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn mo wá fídíò yẹn ni kí ni àwọn jáde fún àwọn ń béèrè fún pé ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀ yìí ó ti kọjá bó ṣe yẹ lọ ẹjẹ́ divide ìlú yìí nítorí pé àwọn olòṣì àwọn tẹ́yìn máa lọ campaign fún àwọn olè politicians yín láti gbogbo Kwara títí dé ìsàlẹ̀ gbogbo wọn pátá they are 419 ni wọ́n mọ̀ pé in táwọn yẹn ń béèrè fún ní 2017 yẹn òun ló máa liberate wa wọ́n wá jẹ́ kí ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn kó jáde síta. Nígbà tí èmi gan wá gbọ́ pé àwọn George Akíọlá ti sọ̀rọ̀ rí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi yẹn tí mo rí fídíò wọn níbí báyìí wọ́n á ní ṣé pé àwọn kan ti sọ̀rọ̀ pé kí Yorùbá pín. Mo sọ̀rọ̀ Victor Taiwo because àwọn yẹn bí 419 nìyẹn I don't trust that man because ó ní àti ń jẹ́ Yorùbá nìjà fún 30 years kìnnìkan kò sẹ́ni kankan tó tẹ̀ gbọ́n rárá. Ìgbà gbọ́ àrí evidence tó rí ẹ̀rí dáadáa tó sọ̀rọ̀ ṣọ́kọ́ṣọ́kọ́ òun làwọn George Akíọlá. I'm not care about that Victor Taiwo, gbogbo mo ti ń ṣe Yorùbá nation for 30 years yẹn ó lè máa sọ yẹn fẹ́yìn gullibles. Àwa gan la gbé jáde torí pé ní Nàìjíríà tó wà yẹn gan sẹ̀ mo rò pé èèyàn kọ́kọ́ mọ Victor Taiwo yàtọ̀ sáwọn ọba tọ́jọ́ ń ṣe kùdúpẹ̀tẹ̀ tọ́jọ́ ń wọlé tọ́jọ́ ń wọ̀de tó ń bá ṣiṣẹ́. Tí n bá rí fídíò yẹn nísìn màá lọ wá níbi tí mo tún lè ti rí. I'm sure pé ó wà níbí báyìí. So kí ni mo fẹ́ fàpẹ́ ni pé ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀ yìí ọ̀rọ̀ ọmọlúàbí pé a jókòó kájọ discuss ẹ̀ tó bá sì ń ronú pé Tinubu ti sọ fún wa pé tún Nàìjíríà ṣe yes iṣẹ́ tó àgbà fún nìyẹn ó gbọ́dọ̀ tún Nàìjíríà ṣe fún títí tí Nàìjíríà máa run until tó máa dijọ́ kan wá wind down tó dẹ̀ sì máa wind down ni pé olúkálukú wa lọ di bọ́dẹ̀ mú tàbá ti kọ́kọ́ gbẹ́gbẹ́ àgbà country báyìí àkọ́kọ́ máa close the border wa bí ìgbà tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ ṣe election ní ó rà pé DRC ló fẹ́ ṣe election ní láìpẹ́ yìí the first thing they normally do ẹ̀rí pé nígbà táwọn náà bá fẹ́ ṣe election Nàìjíríà wọ́n ní wọ́n close air space kí ló ṣe máa ń close space because a fẹ́ any intervention of anybody ní period yẹn so ìjọ tí ó bá wáyé pé officially through referendum ni o which we pray that it can come through referendum through total declaration ni o kò ń ṣe ti dagboru ni mò ń sọ through anarchy ni o at some point through pé Nigeria collapse ni o in tó bá ti lè mú kó collapse a máa kọ́kọ́ close border wa we close the borders so that a fẹ́ any infiltrators tó máa wọlé ní period yẹn in that period yẹn la máa wá jọ jókòó gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá pátápátá kò ní sí APC mọ́ nígbà yẹn kò ní sí PDP mọ́ kò ní sí AAC mọ́ kò ní sí any political structure tó wà lábẹ́ Nàìjíríà kò ní sí 1999 constitution everything will be collapsed but reason táwọn kan ṣe ní ẹ má lọ fà débi pé ẹ nílé control ẹ because kamatu lọ máa ní tó ń pè ní àwọn warlord America ń bẹ̀rù yẹn èmi wà níbi tí a ṣèpàdé kan ní 2 years ago mo ní go into detail pẹ̀lú àwọn gbòógì èèyàn lamẹ́ríkà that is one of their concern pé tẹ́ ẹ bá lọ pín tẹ́ ẹ bá pín dáadáa there might be a warlord tó bá mọ̀ tó ń pè ní warlord ó pọ̀ ní Somalia warlord ni pé olúkálukú àwọn kan lè dira wọn mú ní just bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń ṣe àwọn tọ́gìrì tẹ́ ń ṣe nísìn nílẹ̀ Yorùbá àwọn tọ́gìrì òṣì tẹ́ ń ṣe táwọn kan wá ní àwọn àwa la wà ní mú iṣẹ́ àwa lọ́wọ́ mú iṣẹ́ olóòṣà àwa la wà ní ojú ẹlẹ́gbà àwa so they are worried and they are concerned. That is why some people are saying tẹ́ bá ní ẹ fẹ́ gba Yorùbá nation ẹ wò dáadáa o ẹ má lọ dá wàhálà sílẹ̀ o tá bá lè sọ pé a fẹ́ dá wàhálà sílẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ wàhálà kan what we are saying is that let everybody come together and let us discuss the issue but tẹ́ bá máa play game pé a lè discuss issue tó wà nílẹ̀ yìí o àwa tún ronú 2027 èmi ò ní kẹ́ máa ronú 2027 I care less anymore ẹ bá ronú 2031 gan sef because the same thing náà ló ẹ ṣe máa bá kò lè sí ìyàtọ̀ kankan ò lè sí bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe election ọ̀rọ̀ election kan ló wà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá mọ́ nísìn ọ̀rọ̀ bí a ṣe fẹ́ decide fate wa ti real identity wa táwọn olùṣọ́ lórí burúkú British tó gbà kúrò lọ́wọ́ wa because àwọn ló gbà kúrò lọ́wọ́ wa because wọn ò ní any right láti wá kọ́kọ́ decide lé wa lórí but ẹ mọ̀ tó ṣe wọ́n lo agbára wọ́n lo bomb wọ́n lo gbogbo nǹkan wọ́n lo agbára débi pé àwọn ọba wa kọ̀ọ̀kan náà compromise àwọn aráàlú compromise wọ́n tà wá lẹ́rú wọ́n ṣe gbogbo tó ń wù wọ́n disorganize wa after 110 years tí Nàìjíríà ṣe máa pé 110 years ní January 1st àfẹ́mú yìí tó ti wà ní countdown yìí àwa ń béèrè pé who are we gangan ta ni wá ta la wá gangan ṣé Nigerians ni wá yes as it stand right now we are Nigerians because the country has not divided the country has not collapsed so automatically ẹni tó o bá ti ní passport ìlú mi tó o bá ti lè ní identity mi tó o bá ti wà nationalized sí country mi tó bá jẹ́ pé inú Nàìjíríà wọ́n wà o dẹ̀ ní any other means of travel pé kò ń ṣe pé visa ni mò ń sọ o because tó bá dé airport ìwọ náà lẹ́ẹ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan tí wàá fi ìwọ náà lọ sí airport wà á dé olúkàlùkù tó bá ti dé airport ẹlòmíì á yọ blue jáde, ẹlòmíì á yọ colour mi jáde, ó á yọ this jáde. Ẹni tí ó fẹ́ travel tó ń ṣe pé ó ń padà sí base ìlú tó ti jẹ́ nationalization kò ní lo Nigerian passport. Àwọn kan lo dual nationality, wọ́n lo ti Nigeria. Bá ṣe ń wà báyìí nísìn, kódà àwọn tó ti lọ́lé tí mo mọ̀ wọ́n ti sọ fún àwọn kan ti dágbére fún mi, Mr. Koiki, àwọn kan ti wà ń lé wọ́n ti sọ fún mi, mo mọ̀ àwọn tó ń lọ lọ́la, mo mọ̀ àwọn tó máa lọ lọ́túnla, mo mọ̀ àwọn bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. N tẹ̀ ní láti rántí àwọn kankan tí èèyàn kan máa bá mi mú wá, mo ní láti ẹ̀tì bí tẹ̀ ṣe rántí nísìn máa pẹ́ nìyẹn tó bá ń padà bọ̀ kó bá máa kó bọ̀. So kí ni mo fẹ́ fàwọn bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé as we stand today, there is still a country called Nigeria. Don't let anybody fool you pé kò sí nǹkan tó ń jẹ́ Nigeria. Nigeria is still existing. It's still a country. Lágbàáyé, ní Africa, ní around the world, gẹ́gẹ́ bí ṣe máa ń gbé máàpù mi, ṣáà mo bí ṣe máa ń love máàpù mi láti gbé mọ́ra. There is still a country called Nigeria. She exists as of today. So don't be fooled. Pé kò sí nǹkan tó ń jẹ́ Nigeria. It is still existing. But we are campaigning for the right of the Yoruba people, just as we are campaigning for the right of us to exit Nigeria. Now, kí ni process ẹ̀? Mo kí àwa Fọláṣadé Òjó ẹ bá ń kí grandma tó ń kí grandma ẹ̀ dẹ̀ bá ń kí àwọn wa grandchildren ní Ọdúnlédùmarè á bá wa pẹ̀lú yín fún ìfẹ́ tẹ́ ní sí wa àti olóyè Ìgbòho, gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ fún wa ní owó fún olóyè ní ìgbà tá béèrè àdúlọ́wọ́ yín, gbogbo àwọn tí mo sọ pé under 48 hours àwọn èèyàn respond, raise good money, gbogbo owó yẹn ó lọ sọ́dọ̀ olóyè, àdúpẹ́ fún yín. Ní February gbogbo àwọn tó ń béèrè pé Koiki báwo lọ́nà ṣe olóyè ìyá lóde tó máa ṣe kí gbogbo yẹn a máa fún yín ní update yẹn, but for now kò sí date yàtọ̀ sí pé wọ́n ṣe ń propose pé February ni òkú yẹn máa bọ́ sí. bí yẹn kan bá sọ fún yín pé wọ́n ti mú date, tẹ́ bá ti gbọ́ date yẹn ẹ ti mú fàbú nìyẹn o. Koiki ló ń sọ̀rọ̀ nísìn, èmi mo lè confirm ẹ̀ fún yín pé date báyìí ni. Olóyè òde ti sọ fún mi pé kí n jáde pé date báyìí ni. Yes, it will be around February. Wọ́n ṣe ń propose February yẹn. So tẹ́ bá gbọ́ yes wọ́n ti ń raṣọ, èmi gan ti ní aṣọ tèmi náà kọ́ máa bá process ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́, àwa náà ti ń so báwa náà bá tẹ̀ wálé a máa wálé ni, Koiki Show máa wálé ni, ò ní láti mọ̀ yẹn. Ṣé Ìgbòho máa wálé ni? Àmọ́ yẹn. Ṣé tí Joe Biden bá fẹ́ travel ṣọ́ máa ń fún ẹ ní gbogbo security details? Kí lẹ fẹ́ mọ̀ bí Ìgbòho máa wálé fún? Kí lẹ ń béèrè pé Ìgbòho máa wálé? Gbogbo wa ni Ìgbòho, àwọn èèyàn wà nílé tó jẹ́ Ìgbòho, aláwọn tó lè lọ on behalf wa tó jẹ́ Ìgbòho, ẹ ní láti mọ̀ yẹn because ibi tó ń kàn fẹ́ mọ̀ nìyẹn. Koiki ṣé Ìgbòho ń bọ̀ nílé? Mo ní láti fún yín ní information lórí yẹn. Now à ń sọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation lójoojúmọ́, government náà ní àwọn ń ṣèjọba lọ́wọ́. Oh yes, government must continue to be government until the final day, until the final day of the collapse of Nigeria. Ìgbà tó máa wáyé, I don't know, because I can see that the Yoruba people are not ready. Ready. Ìyẹn stop yín pé kẹ́ máa lọ sí education, tó bá lè kàwé, tó bá rẹ́ni fún ẹ lówó lọ sí abroad, tó bá rẹ́ni lọ sí abroad. Ìyá kan pè mí láàárọ̀ yìí nísìn, wọn náà kan tẹ̀ dé kìnnìkan wọ́n rí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń bọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ mọ̀ pé ìyẹn ń gbàyàn sílé nílùú yìí o. Tó bá sọ fún wọn pé hòtẹ́ẹ̀lì ló máa wọ̀, ó lè gbé lóòtẹ́ẹ̀lì nílùú yìí, ó máa lọ rẹ́ǹtì lé ni. Tó bá wà nínú London £1,900 ni. Tó bá wà lásà London ó máa wà cheaper díẹ̀. So tó bá fi pé òun fojú dáyàn kan bí àwọn fojú dá Koiki, tó bá dé London wá gbé sọ́dọ̀, ó lè gbé lọ́dọ̀ mi o, ó lè gbé lọ́dọ̀ àǹtí ẹ. So ẹ jẹ́ máa ronú sí dáadáa. Èmi ò ní kẹ́ má wá sí abroad o, tó bá wọn anybody ló lè fàyè ẹ̀ ṣe. Tí nígbà tèmi náà máa kúrò Nàìjíríà mo dágbére fún anybody. So that is on that, but ẹ máa take note. Ìdí táwa ṣe ń campaign sílẹ̀ nísìnyí pé the world of today is revolving. Ayé yìí ń revolve ni, and nobody is waiting for anybody. Tẹ́ bá fi pé as the world is, wọ́n dúró de Yorùbá pé kó catch up. No, kò sí tó kàn wọ́n. Àwa tá jẹ́ indigenous people yẹn la máa jáde tán pé we are tired. But what I can say right now, Yoruba people are not tired. Ẹ fẹ́ràn ìyà. Ọlọ́mọ ẹ̀ kíyà kó mú yìí. Torí ìyà ò ní mú èmi o. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ. Koiki chapter má ṣe pé fún wa náà, ìyẹn ò ṣe pé. Because in tó ń lọ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ nínú Nàìjíríà, ó tó kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá sọ pé wàhálà ti pọ̀ jù. But all I say every day is the same set of people tá à ń fight fún, tá à ń campaign on behalf. Àwa làwa di enemies yìí. Àwa gangan, àwa la di enemy. Ẹ wo gbogbo òṣìtọ́ ní ó ṣẹlẹ̀ pẹ̀lú CBN. bó ṣe kówó lọ, bó ṣe kówó bọ̀. So let's go back to where we stopped again yesterday. Ìwọ̀nba tá a bá lè ṣe lénìí again àtúnṣe. Mo sọ tí bá ní mo lè padà wá, tí bá lè padà wá again, ó tún dijọ́ mi nìyẹn. But for now, we're still here. As we say to everyone, Merry Christmas. Fẹ́yìn tẹ́ fẹ́ celebrate in advance. Ìwọ tó bá celebrate, má condemn àwọn tó fẹ́ celebrate. Níjọ́ Sunday tá máa mú yìí, right? Sunday tá máa mú yìí. No, we don't expect everybody to speak out. Mr. Olu lórí TikTok. I don't expect everybody to. If he's speaking, and you feel like power nita. Can you call prepare mind pé ìjọ kan máa dé? Kò ṣe pé ìjọ kan máa dé yẹn a máa mú date sa máa mú time sí. Now everybody bá ti mọ tá ń sọ. Èmi ò expect ẹ sọ̀rọ̀. Because tẹ́ bá sọ̀rọ̀ DSS olórí burúkú máa léyìn mú. DSS ò lè fi mí ṣe nǹkan kan. Sójà ò lè fi mí ṣe nǹkan kan. I'm not coming to Nigeria now. Èmi ò ní kẹ́yìn sọ̀rọ̀. Àní kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ gbọ́ ìṣítí. We are preparing the mind. I don't want you to go and compromise us. Ṣẹ̀rí ìgbà tá a bá jáde mo ti sọ bí ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wọlé ni. Mo ní 1 million Nigerian soldier wọ́n lè pa gbogbo wa. Ká tó stop wọn. Ambọ̀sibọ́sí gbogbo security Nigeria is just under 500,000. Wọ́n tó 1 million. Gbogbo wọn pátá. Wọ́n lè pa gbogbo wa ká tó stop wọn. Kó tó dé stage yẹn gan sef àwọn gan mọ̀ pa serious but ká tó dé stage yẹn ẹgbọ́n tí bàbá Akíntóyè sọ níbẹ̀ àkọ́kọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ ṣàlàyé fún àwọn èèyàn àlàyé yẹn ni mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní 3 years ago bí a bí ṣe wá ń sọ ni kò yá àwọn èèyàn èmi dẹ̀ sọ pé àjàmọ́ but ẹ jẹ́ ká prepare mind wa Tinubu prepare mind ẹ̀ pé òun padà bọ̀ ní Nàìjíríà láti wá jẹ governor ní 1999 kò ní padà wá tó bá jẹ́ pé Abacha ò kú àwọn ò gbàdúrà ikú fún Tinubu but àwa ń sọ fún Tinubu pé ìjọba tó ń ṣe lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ yìí ó ní timeline àwọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ wá dúró tútútú káwá jókòó tàtàtà káwá sọ pé yẹn Tinubu wà níbẹ̀ kó máa ṣèjọba lọ. Yes, I expect him to make sure that your life is better but ìyẹn stop wa pé ká má bẹ̀rẹ̀ campaign wa padà ká má sọ fáwọn èèyàn wa which is exactly what we are doing every day. We are talking about the Yoruba Nation campaign because olúkálukú bẹ ṣe ń gbọ́ ẹlòmíì ò gbọ́ nígbọ́ pé ó máa favour wa ẹlòmíì gbọ́ nígbọ́ pé tàbá kúrò ṣé nọ́ọ̀tì ebi ò nípa wá èmi á máa wọ́ndà pé Ọ̀yọ́ state nìkan ó lè feed gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ó lè feed Africa but nígbà tí ẹ bá ní mechanized farming tẹ́ ẹ bá ní nǹkan tó lè jẹ́ kó progress the question is am I get stuck. So yes, the country is still running. Nigeria máa run títí tó máa fi collapse ni Soviet Union was running until the last day. Ìjọ tó bá ti wá collapse yẹn bí ṣe sọ àmọ́ àti bọ́dà wa pa àwa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí vet ara wa àwa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣe government ara wa but for now Sanwó-Olú is the governor Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún is the governor Ṣèyí Mákindé is the governor Akérédolú ìyẹn ti lọ tọ́jú ara ẹ̀ ní tiẹ̀ ó ti sick ní tiẹ̀ mo ti rí deputy ìyẹn ti ń ṣayé lọ ní tiẹ̀ ẹni ayé babaláyé ni bẹ́ẹ̀ ni deputy ti di acting nísìn ó ti kódà ó ti ṣe budget gọ̀ọ̀sẹ̀ tí mo ti rí budget tó ti ka síta bí 400 and something billion l'Ondo state bàbá Adélékè àbí ọ̀nkún wọn oníkùn bẹ̀m̀bẹ̀m bàbá oníjó òun ṣèjọba tiẹ̀ so they will continue to run the government àwọ̀ ní kọ́ máa run government because ṣé màá dín ìṣòrí mo fẹ́ Yorùbá nation nísìn kí wọ́n ní Sanwó-Olú ẹ máa bọ̀ mí báyìí o kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ẹ má ṣe nǹkan no it doesn't work like that. The country will continue to run until it completely grounded that we will then come back to reality but reality yẹn ni pé a ti ń prepare àwọn mind àwọn èèyàn again pé torí mo mọ̀ pé tó bá máa fi di èmi ò ní kẹ́ má fẹ́ràn àwọn olóṣèlú yín tẹ́ bá fẹ́ràn wọn fine but ẹ má tún jẹ́ ká ronú ọ̀rọ̀ another election tá bá ti lè tún ní more numbers nígbà tá bẹ̀rẹ̀ we had a good numbers so àwọn kan nísìnyí ti gbà pé kódà America bá ní kẹ́ lọ gba PVC America tó ní kẹ́ lọ gba PVC ò ní ever fún ẹ ní target ṣe mọ̀ pé tó bá fẹ́ gba American interview nísìnyí gan sẹ́ o lè má ra appointment for the next 1 year forget about the lies. American comes ẹlẹgba PVC ẹlẹgba APC is a lie. They are not going to do anything. But ìwọ tó jọmọ Yorùbá ni kó jẹ́ kó kọ́kọ́ máa ronú sí pé Koiki tá bá wá dìbò tí ìbò bá lọ wọlé kọ́ it doesn't matter because at the end of the day tí Peter Obi bá wọlé tó bí títí Nàìjíríà ṣì máa pín tí Àtíkù bá wọlé Nàìjíríà ṣì máa pín. So this tribalism that play nígbà election is what it first believe but could make any difference because it will still mean that the country will collapse faster. Okay, ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ sí ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn Biafra. Àwa ní àfẹ́ pín Nàìjíríà. Ṣé máa sọ fún Biafra tó campaign pé kó má pín Nàìjíríà torí Tinubu wà níbẹ̀? wọ́n ní dáyín lóhùn. Ẹ lọ bọ́ ṣe ń bú Tinubu drug addict ní àwọn Ìgbò yẹn wọ́n yẹn tẹ̀ bí ìgbẹ́. Tí Peter Obi bá jẹ́ pé òun náà ni president, báwa náà ṣe máa ṣe náà nìyẹn pé Peter Obi òṣìwò. Peter Obi is a British agent. British ló ń ṣiṣẹ́ fún. But ní believe me because mo ní evidence mo fẹ́ fún yín. Ní believe me. So tó bá jẹ́ Àtíkù ni ọmọ Àtíkù máa ta kódà ó máa ta gbogbo family wa fáwọn Arabs. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ fún yín. So it is still going to be the same thing. Advantage táwọn kọ́kọ́ ní nísìnyí pé Tinubu wà níbẹ̀ is an advantage ọmọ Yorùbá ni. But ṣé advantage yẹn ṣó máa lò fún wa láti fix ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ìyẹn àkọ́kọ́? Kò ń ṣe pé láti ṣe Yorùbá nation o. Ṣé Tinubu máa lo advantage yẹn? Because right now it's an advantage for the Yoruba land. Ó gbọ́dọ̀ pump owó sílẹ̀ Yorùbá púpọ̀. Kó ṣe títì, kó ṣe this, kó ṣe that. So that by the time tí Nàìjíríà bá máa fi pín gan sẹ̀, àwa náà ti jẹ díẹ̀ lára Nàìjíríà because gbèsè tó ń bẹ lára Nàìjíríà, every single one of us will pay for it if the country dissolve or collapse. Gbogbo wa la ṣe máa wà responsible fún. So ẹ má rò pé gbogbo àwọn owó tá a yá yẹn ọ̀fẹ́ lọ fún wa, wọ́n fún wa lówó ọ̀fẹ́ o. We will all still pay for those debts. It is not free o. Government kọ́kọ́ fún anybody lówó ọ̀fẹ́ o. We will all pay for it. But before we get to that stage, let us first say to our people, Tabak in Nigeria leni, First Bank will automatically start running as a Yoruba entity. I mean, ọmọ change orúkọ wọn. Wọ́n nílò First Bank of Nigeria mọ́ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Wọ́n lè lọ lóní north. A lot of things will change. The first thing that will first change is that name. Now, ṣé wọ́n prefer kí orúkọ yẹn change láti Nigeria sí Oduduwa Kingdom, Yoruba Nation, Yoruba Republic, Oduduwa Republic? Èwo ló prefer no méjèèjì? Do you prefer the name Nigeria? Come up with any, I am a Nigerian. But your true picture of identity tó jẹ́ Yoruba gangan is hidden away. Èwo ló fẹ́ no méjèèjì? Ẹ fi sínú comment section. That is the first game. Now, ẹ lè máa béèrè pé Koiki, báwo la ṣe máa wá change gbogbo kinní yẹn? Ṣó mọ̀ pé Britain. Nígbà tó kúrò ní EU ní mo kí our Grace Olúṣòótọ́, nígbà tó kúrò ní EU ní 2016. Ta ló mọ̀ tó kọ́kọ́ change? Nígbà movement táwọn ọmọ ìlú wọn vote against pé a fẹ́ kúrò nínú EU. Ta ló lè confirm kí ni wọ́n kọ́kọ́ change fáwọn tó bá ń gbé nílùú yìí àbẹ̀ tó bá ń follow politics ìlú yìí? The first thing that will change was wọ́n withdraw passport tí wọ́n ń lò tẹ́lẹ̀. Wọ́n withdraw kúrò lọ́wọ́ gbogbo ọmọ wọn. Because passport tó ń lò tẹ́lẹ̀ tó fi wà ní abẹ́ EU ó ní emblem EU lórí. And for the fact that they are no longer a member of the EU, ẹ ṣe gan ni dáàdi wa fab. The first thing tá a máa kọ́kọ́ ṣe ni pé ìjọ tí Nàìjíríà bá ti collapse, we will automatically start issuing a new passport that will be Yoruba Nation passport. That is the first thing. You will automatically become a full-blown citizen. Àwa máa vet ara wa. Yes, ó gbọ́dọ̀ vet. Because kó má jẹ́ pé kó máa kó ẹran mọ́mọ́gà àbí whatever. Ẹ mọ̀ kó Yorùbá tèmi ó ní ìgẹ́ta sí bí. So the first thing we will do is we will first become a citizen of Yoruba country. And that means that you will have right. Àwọn kan náà máa rí right yẹn o. Ẹ má dẹ̀ o. Àwọn ọmọ Igbo kan máa ní right yẹn because right ọmọ ní ni pé wọ́n ti fẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá just like bí wọn náà ṣe rán àwọn òyìnbó tó ń fẹ́ Nigerians. Ṣé o mọ̀ pé àwọn òyìnbó tó ń fẹ́ Nigerians yẹn wọ́n fi ń gbàwé ni? Kò ń ṣe pé wọ́n ní true love láàrin wọn but wọ́n fi ń gbà ìwé ni. Kò dẹ̀ wọ́n ṣe gbogbo ẹni tó fẹ́ òyìnbó ló ní ó fẹ́ gbàwé. Mo mọ̀ àwọn tó yẹ pé British ni wọ́n òyìnbó ló fẹ́ into prefer nìyẹn. Vice versa. Àmọ́ ẹni tó jẹ́ ọmọ Nigerian tó ní British passport wọ́n òyìnbó ló fẹ́. So what is going to happen is that a máa set up immigration center, no, immigration minister, immigration department. Àwa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí yanjú citizenship yẹn by categories. Number one, àwa tá bá jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá core to the core, full-blown Yorùbá, we become the first automatic citizen. Mo kàn ṣàlàyé fún yín process yẹn ni o because àwọn kan fi pé this process pé a fẹ́ pín kúrò lára Nigeria is a difficult process. No, it is not. The British left the European Union in 2016 and after they left, every British passport holder wọ́n ní kó dá padà. Ẹ dá passport tó wà lọ́wọ́ yín yẹn padà kó lè issue new one fún yín kó lè iṣẹ́ ló tún jẹ́ fún àwọn tó ń print passport. So tá bá ní a fẹ́ kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà tí a ti decide lẹ́nìí, we will automatically be issue a new passport. Tá a bá tẹ̀ tí ní opportunity láti print passport yẹn nílẹ̀ wa because of reason not because bí a ti set up dáadáa, a lọ gbé lọ bá àwọn tó ń print passport is business nìyẹn fún rẹ̀. Government ló máa sọ fún wọn pé template ta fẹ́ lélẹ̀, security feature ta fẹ́ kó wà nínú ẹ̀ lélẹ̀, wá lè fún wọn ní template yẹn. Ẹ má bìrì gbogbo nonsense ti Dagboru yẹn kọ́kọ́ gbé wá fún wa tó sọ pé yẹn ká lọ your passport. She was a baba 419 ìyá yẹn olórí burúkú ni kò ní kú síbi táṣọ ẹ wà, baba 419 ìyá yẹn. But I'm not going to there. So what I'm saying is that the day ìjọ tí Nigeria bá ti collapse, ó dẹ̀ máa collapse, kò bá jẹ́ 20 years from now, tó bá máa collapse in 20 years, I will still be alive because I will only be 60. Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí irú àwọn bàbá Adébánjọ wà láyé because tá a bá add the 20 years mọ́ age bàbá yẹn, he will be about almost 105 years old. So ṣe lè rí nǹkan tá à ń sọ nísìn, kọ́dọ̀ fún gbogbo alẹ́ mi Google, àgbàdúrà ikú anybody. But what we are saying is that pé Nigeria ò ní collapse yẹn, ó máa collapse. Only take time ni, only take another 30 years. Ó gbọ́dọ̀ collapse because àìmá collapse a lè ṣoríire o. Fact lẹ gbọ́ lẹ́nu mi yẹn. Bá máa sáré kiri, olóńgbàdúrà ní church, olóńsọ́dọ̀ babaláwo. The first problem ni pé territory wa tó jẹ́ orílẹ̀ wa gangan yẹn, wọ́n ti compromise ilẹ̀ yẹn, a gbọ́dọ̀ gbà padà. A gbọ́dọ̀ gbà padà kí a lè fi jẹ́, ó ṣe lè jẹ́ pé Kúnlé Fọláyan nìkan ló lówó lọ́wọ́, ó ṣe lè jẹ́ kíní Dangote nìkan ló lówó lọ́wọ́, ó ṣe lè jẹ́ àwọn ilé nìkan ló lọ́wọ́. Gbogbo ẹni tó lówó lọ́wọ́ láàárọ̀ yìí nísìn, èmi mo mọ ètò wà lákàntì mi, mo ní láti sọ fún anybody. Kí ni mo jẹ láàárọ̀ yìí? Mo mu custard, mo mu meat spicy. That should mean that pé mo ti ní strength láti ti kọ́kọ́ fi nǹkan sínú. Kò mí pé mo lówó lọ́wọ́. Tí bá ní ọ̀rẹ́ mi díẹ̀ nísìn, ọmọ bá lára mi ṣe báyìí tọ̀tọ̀ bá. Ọ̀dà mo sì lè wọra mi dé hospital wá tọ́jú mi. Ṣé mo pé mo lówó lọ́wọ́? Kò ṣe pé hospital tó ń lọ yẹn náà, àwọn kan ló funded through taxation, through owó tó ń gbà lọ́wọ́ government, owó tó ń gbà lọ́wọ́ àwọn different organizations. Ṣọmọ yẹn tí Google sọ nílùú yìí, headquarters wọn Dublin ló wà. Ṣọmọ yẹn tí Google tẹkàn rárín yẹn Gmail yín, ó dà pé ẹ̀ tí ìdá kankan mọ̀. Ṣọmọ yẹn tí Google ṣọmọ yẹn tó make. Do you know that they pay taxes? Àwọn tax yìí ló fi ń tún ìlú ṣe. Àwọn tax yẹn náà kò ń ṣe pé wọ́n san fún Nàìjíríà. Olórí burúkú country ní Nàìjíríà, gbogbo owó tó ń gbà tó jẹ́ royalty táwọn Shell ń sọ fún wọn, tí dis ń sọ fún wọn, wọ́n implement ẹ̀ padà to provide a good governance fún gbogbo wa. And that is what Bola Tinubu is trying to do. Bola Tinubu is trying to play intelligent, but ó kàn waste time ara ẹni tó bá ti collapse in Nigeria. Tó bá parí tenure, Ọlọ́run máa dá gbogbo wa sí. Tó bá lọ parí tenure tí a ṣe tún fa Yorùbá nation no going back, Yorùbá nation now, tí a dẹ̀ ń rí lójú pé calm down tí wà Tinubu ti fẹ́ lọ, ọmọ kí wo wá lọ ṣe kí ni ká lọ bọ́kú lọ. Tó bá jáde nígbà yẹn màlá máa yìnbọn pa gbogbo wa. So ó bẹ́tà kí ẹ máa lament dáadáa nísìn wá àti Tinubu wà níbẹ̀, ó bẹ́tà kí n rù nísìn dà pé kó dìgbà yẹn ká wá sọ pé Yorùbá nation tí mo ti lọ yọkùn tí mo lè jáde dáadáa. We will be dealt with by the Fulanis. Because wá sọ fún wa pé nígbà tí Tinubu wà níbẹ̀, kí ló dé tí ariwo yín ò lọ sókè tó yìí mọ́? Kí ló dé tẹ́ went quiet? Even though movement means that kò ń ṣe dandan pé ó máa wáyé straight away, but it is called movement. It is called a movement. Benny, we all don't have to be rich to be comfortable. Wallahi mo wà comfortable pa. Tí n bá ti kọjá yàrá mi nílùú yìí, I'm very, very comfortable. Tó bá dẹ̀ ti wago alágo ṣiṣẹ́, ẹni tó dé lẹ́yìn mi, kó gbàwé before mi, mo wago ẹ̀ ṣiṣẹ́. Ẹni tẹ́mi dé lẹ́yìn ẹ̀, mo ti gbàwé before ẹ̀, bó ṣe rí nìyẹn. But what we are saying is that the current state of things in Nigeria, it is not designed for us. It has never been designed for us. It is a very biased. Ẹgbọ́n tó ń sọ pé àwa ni wife, according to Lugard. Àwọn north ni husband, because south ni west, southwest ni ìyàwó, north ni ọkọ. Àwa wá ń ṣe wàhálà. Owó tá wá make, ó wá ń padà sí north. Àwọn north wá jẹ gàba lórí wa. Tinubu kọ́kọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ make sure pé ọmọ Yorùbá náà ní owó tó pọ̀ lọ́wọ́ while he's in government. Oh yes, ó gbọ́dọ̀ make sure. ó gbọ́dọ̀ sọ ọmọ Yorùbá púpọ̀ dolówó ká tó pín Nàìjíríà, but gbogbo yẹn náà, it is just tiny part of the problem. The bigger problem is that every single one of us should start talking about the dissolution, the collapse of Nigeria. Ó gbọ́dọ̀ collapse, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ìyá wa Mojade Sanya. Ó gbọ́dọ̀ ní, àìmá collapse in Nigeria, every one of us will be affected. The next generation will never forgive us. Let everybody continue to call themselves Nigerians, but ìjọ tó bá ti collapse, it will automatically. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n lọ sí, how did Britain change passport? Sorry, Google now. Passport after EU exit or BRICS exit. Yeah, BRICS. Yeah, I can do. Britain will be able to travel with a blue passport when traditionally color returns for the first time in almost 30 years. The distinctive blue yẹn ló wà lọ́wọ́ àwọn èèyàn nísìn, àwọn tó bá ní lọ́wọ́, ẹ make sure pé tọ́jú ẹ̀ dáadáa o. Tó bá lọ Nàìjíríà, wọ́n á kọ́ jí passport mi lọ́wọ́ o. Ẹ máa ní mò ń ṣeré, ìyá kan dé last board of entry láti wọ plane, gbogbo àlànà ti fídíò yẹn, ó dà pé last year ni, ìyá àgbàlagbà, àwọn ọmọ ẹ ti gbé ìyá yẹn dé ilé hospital airport ìlú òṣì ní Nàìjíríà, wọ́n gbé ìyá yẹn dé ibi tó yọ kọ́ máa check ẹrù ìyá yẹn kó dẹ̀ wọ plane, páká ọ̀rí passport ìyá yẹn mọ́. Àwọn ọmọ ayé ti yọ passport ìyá níyà, gbogbo àlànà ti fídíò yẹn, wọ́n láti gbé ìyá yẹn board the plane yẹn. I'm sure àwọn ọmọ máa ti ṣe wàhálà wá ti bá wọn gba passport wọn padà. So ẹ̀yin àgbàlagbà tẹ́ ń lọ́lé, torí àlè ní kẹ́ má lọ́lé, ẹ lọ gbọ̀rùn sára. Ẹ̀yin àgbàlagbà tẹ́ ń lọ́lé, ẹ sọ fún àwọn parents yín, passport wọn yẹn, criminal wà lẹ́pọ̀t o. Èmi wá sọ pé criminal Yorùbá, criminal Igbo, criminal Hausa, mo kàn sọ pé criminals. Ẹ rí pé mo fi ẹ́ sí, wọ́n kún ní airport burúkú báyìí. Wọ́n ń dúró de àwa diaspora tó máa jí everybody fẹ́ jápa, àwọn tó máa jí passport yẹn, àwọn ò fẹ́ jápa. Iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n ní pé kó jí passport yẹn, wọ́n máa tà fún àwọn tó máa tà fún, àwọn yẹn mọ bó ṣe máa lò. Wọ́n ò ní lò wá passport ẹlòmíì, wọ́n lè máa lò wá sí UK, wá kọ́kọ́ lò lọ sáwọn ìlú kan náà. Kò sí nǹkan tó lè ṣe o, ẹ wà very careful. Ẹ má relax ẹ bá ti délé o, èmi ní kí ẹ̀kan má lọlé o. Ẹ̀ ń tọ́dún bá bá láyé ló ń ṣọdún, ẹ lọlé kẹ lọ gbádùn ayé yín, but ẹ wà very careful. So let's go back. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ nígbà tí is British passport changing after BRICS exit? Will Yoruba passport come up after the collapse of Nigeria? It will automatically comes up. Moki Bishop Adesina, Nigeria is not a comfortable place for both the rich and the poor. Olówó ń jìyà, tálákà ń jìyà, òun lọ̀rọ̀ Nigeria. Now, did you know that since the middle of 2020, the new style of the British passport has been adopted? This means that any passport that is now issued by HM Passport Office, àwa náà máa ní tọ̀dọ̀ tiwa, àwọn ọlọ́mọ kò ní sí gbogbo ti Nigerian system yẹn mọ́. Lóòótọ́ àwọn offices yẹn ṣì wà, wọ́n kàn máa change orúkọ offices yẹn sí Yoruba Passport Office, kò ní jẹ́ Nigerian Passport Office. The moment Nigeria collapse, gbogbo tó ń jẹ́ Nigeria stop to exist in that territory called Yoruba land. That is the first thing. The ìjọ tí Nigeria bá ti collapse, ó máa collapse one way or the other. The first thing is that the whole structure tó ń pè ní Nigeria yẹn stop to exist. Gbogbo àwọn banks, gbogbo iléeṣẹ́, gbogbo this and that, wọ́n máa lọ máa reprint everything, wọ́n máa change orúkọ. Ṣé ẹ̀yin ò like yẹn ni? No, ṣé ẹ̀yin ò fẹ́, ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pé ṣé máa tún wà fún everybody ni? Printer máa wo, ẹ máa busy débi pé ẹ̀yin gan lè máa lẹ́ ẹ need the external people kó wá láti Africa tẹ̀ fi employ. Because, okay, let's look at it. Ẹ fún mi ní company tó yẹ pé they will not change the whole structure. You're right. Ẹ fún mi ní company tí kò ní change kankan tí Nigeria tó bá collapse. What is the company? Because every company in Nigeria right now, they're using the name Nigeria. That means that everyone will be busy. You will be busy. You will be busy. Olúkálùkù máa busy in different things. Our media ma busy, ama polówó koko, ìwọ ma busy, ìwọ na ma busy, gbogbo pa àtẹ̀níṣẹ́ yẹn àkọ́kọ́ get employed because a lot of activities will be happening simultaneously. While we will have a interim government that will be set up, start talking about, ta ló lélẹ̀ ní bíbá, kí ni nǹkan ta ní bíbá, kí ni asset tẹ̀ tó lélẹ̀. There will be different things that will be set up. It will now be a new structure and a new government. Let's talk about how the British changed their passport after the BRICS exit. The HM Passport Office, tó bá mọ̀ tán pé bẹ́ẹ̀, àwọn yẹn gangan ni. British passport will be issued in the name of His Majesty. New British passport will now bear the title His Majesty for the first time since 1952. Because tẹ́lẹ̀, Her Majesty ni ìyẹn ìyá King Charles. God bless the king. But nísìnyí, ìyẹn ti kú, ọkùnrin ló wà níbẹ̀ nísìnyí. So for the first time since 1952, ṣe rí pé ìyá yẹn pẹ́ lórí oyè yẹn gan. Since 1952, wọ́n máa wá change ẹ̀. Ṣé gbogbo àwọn kìíní is, now, again, mo wà lórí website wọn nísìn, ilé ni woman tó wà ń bẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ bọ́ ti yọ nísìn, ìyẹn former home secretary wa, ó mú passport yẹn dání. The first iconic blue passport returned next month. This was March 2020, okay? The first new blue passport will be issued from March 2020, ìyẹn 3 years ago nísìn. No, 21, 22, 3 years ago. Britain will be able to travel with a blue passport when the traditional color returned for the first time in almost 30 years. Red ló ń lò tẹ́lẹ̀. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ̀ ń gbìyànjú tẹ́ wà ní UK tí ẹ ṣì wá bẹ ṣe máa rí ìwé yín gbà bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ṣe máa gba British passport. Ọlọ́run á jẹ́ kẹ́ rí gbà lágbára Elédùmarè. Mo fi tọjọ́ tèmi fáwọn tó ti gbà á kọ́lọ́run jẹ́ kẹ́ náà rí gbà. It's worth having it if you have the opportunity. Máa kí wọn kan fúlẹ̀. Mo mọ̀ pé ṣòwò rẹ náà wọ́n gba American passport. Òun ló mọ reason tó wọ́n ṣe fẹ́ gbà. No American passport, but if you have the opportunity to get any passport, please go for it and get it. Okay, you will just have a dual citizenship. That's all. It's worth taking it, especially to buy the opportunity. Láti gbà mọ́ kí àwa Ifá Diwúrà ẹ̀kú palẹ̀ mọ́ ìṣùdé àdúrà wa gbà. Dẹ̀mọ̀ mọ́ ìjọ tó lọ fi ti UK sí ìjọ àwa tá ní mọ́tò tá a bá fi wá sírú event yẹn nísìn, it will be very difficult. Because it's your Christmas, Boxing Day, stroke Sunday, stroke Monday. So until about drive, it might difficult for, but our team will issue date on machine just Sunday. So we're working on that. Tabare to face support to our any support. So our team will marrying will dedicate on my issue day ni Leko and issue our lani. Mike, am I king? Yeah, Christmas Eve, but my bossy oru. Because bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe sọ níjọ́ àìmọ̀ ti rí page yìí mà ó máa bọ́ sóru èmi tá àwọn táàdẹ̀ drive ó máa difficult fún mi láti padà sílé. I would have loved to come. Ẹ ti get me ìjọ tẹ fẹ́ ṣe yẹn sẹ́ ó ti bọ́ sóru because ṣe bí overnight lẹ fẹ́ ṣe ẹ jẹ́ kí n lọ wo page yẹn again. I'm sure ẹ jẹ́ kí n tẹ̀ bá ń polówó ẹ̀. I'm sure àbí yeah I'm very sure pé overnight ni. Even though I have a very, very tight schedule this week. The page you are again. Ẹ má bínú pé mo ní stop gap nínú kọ́tà and discuss. Ara iṣẹ́ tàgbà náà nìyẹn. Ifá Diwúrà Temple. Ẹ tó bá mọ̀ ẹ máa lọ follow wọn. They're doing very well, but tí màá lè make ẹ̀ ní eléyìí definitely I'll be attending one of your events. Níjọ́ kan lágbára Ọlọ́run orí page náà mo wà nísìn. Issue is not Satan. It's a work for issue. Olaolu. This is coming up. There's going to be a walk. Okay, to 2022 lele. To 2022. In a new posting you are, mommy. New advert, new one. So, or page anymore. Sunday is during the day. Okay, it's during the day. It's Sunday, yeah. No, 23rd is the all-night service. Okay, ebi ni mo mix it up nígbà yẹn. Yeah, ṣebí Sunday lẹ fẹ́ ṣe máa fáwọn èèyàn náà nìkan or something like that ní Croydon. Mo mọ̀ kẹ́ fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan ní Croydon ní just mo wà lórí page yìí mo fẹ́ kà dáadáa síta. Okay, 24th. Okay, Sunday 24th. Ifá Diwúrà _temple_UK. Ẹ lọ follow wọn and please let us, like I always say, àwọn tó fẹ́ celebrate Christmas. let's respect that. And our celebrity Timodelaye ministry kan gbọ́dọ̀ fún mi ní fàbọ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ ká sọ̀rọ̀ nípa Ifá Dewura Temple. I've never met this my mother, but I've been following her. You know, ìbá mo ṣe mọ̀ nípa wọn, mo rí pé wọ́n ṣe Ọ̀ṣun Day. I was like, ní London. Níbo lèmi wà tí mo gbọ́ gbogbo ilé tẹ́lẹ̀. So we need to start promoting most of what we see like this. So lágbára Ọlọ́run, you know, I should máa ṣe interview tá máa sọ̀rọ̀ dáadáa, but wọ́n máa feed our homeless people. And this is what we want our people to know, that nílùú iná ìyà ń já wọn yàn. Ìjọ kan mo jáde ní last week kan, wọ́n á realize pé abájọ tó ṣe máa ná gbọ́dọ̀ feed àwọn èèyàn pẹ̀lú nǹkan gbígbóná. Ẹ mọ̀ pé tí bá ti jáde látàárọ̀ yẹn, especially jọ Wednesday, mo á rí pé sandwich nìkan ni mo jẹ. Mo á rí pé ara mi ń tutù. Mo á ní àbí torí pé mo jẹ nǹkan tó hot, especially in the winter. So ráwọn ìyá wa nísìn, wọ́n máa ṣe tán pè ní, wọ́n máa ní níjọ́ Sunday yìí, Sunday tá fẹ́ mú yìí lágbára Ọlọ́run, Ifá Dewura Temple ni wọ́n jẹ́. Ẹ lọ follow wọn lórí Instagram. They're doing very well, and we love what our communities, especially the Yoruba communities, and other Nigerians know, like I always say, we're not fighting each other. So ní part 1 procession, there'll be a 3 p.m. Latin number 32 to 34 Sydenham Road, Woman Day, Fear All, Park Lane, Croydon, CR01JD. That is Charlie Romeo 01 Juliet Delta. But if you talk to my gbéra, ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ débẹ̀, kò sí African time o, aago mẹ́ta ló máa gbéra títí dé Fairfield Hall. Postcode ibi tó ti máa gbéra ní Charlie Romeo Oscar 2 Echo Freddy. So ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ wọn. Tó bá wá di part 2 níjọ́ yẹn náà láago mẹ́rin dé aago mẹ́fà, wọ́n náà máa feed the 1,200 homeless people. Ẹ máa pé homeless wà nílùú yìí. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àwọn homeless wà. And it's not their fault. Sometimes, you know, different people are going to 100% only psychiatric land only Yaba. So Eshu is not Satan. It's an annual festival that has been held for almost a decade in the UK. Wallahi, that is good publicity, which I'm happy to do. So, and up to 50 countries worldwide. It is aimed to heal and rebuild the destruction of the African indigenous faith, Ifa, to rid ourselves of this religious brainwash of the people that has occurred since Europeans invaded and colonized the continent. And this is the reason why Tashen sọ pé, Sherry, even though we live here, àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ kan wà tá máa fẹ́ máa sọ, but what ti báyé jẹ́ gan? They've destroyed who we are. Òun náà la ṣe ń sọ yìí. Yorùbá ni mí, ọmọlúàbí. One people, one culture, one language. I live with them for 25 years. I don't have cool. Mo ti attend the gay rally rí, mo ti attend the lesbian rally rí, kò sí tó kàn mí. Media lèmi, in táwọn fẹ́ ṣe nìyẹn. But èyí táwa jẹ́ tòtòrò tiwa, ẹ ṣe wá jẹ́ ká distorted, táwa sọ pé èṣòdà. Kí lẹ́mí pé èṣòdà? Láyé àtijọ́ nìyẹn o. Mo bẹ̀ ẹ̀yin ọmọ Mùsùlùmí àti Kristẹni. Ẹ má jẹ́ káwọn àfáà kan àti wòlíì kan kọ́ fún wa ní fàbú yẹn mọ́. Àwọn ló ń dá wàhálà yẹn sílẹ̀. Mo rí sister wa kan tó ń respond sí evangelist Ezekiel or something like that. I don't try to get involved in all this because at the end of the day self-determination ló ní gbé dání. Mo dẹ̀ ní gbogbo platform ló ní nǹkan tó ń ṣe. In tí àwọn Ifá Dewura gbé dání, wọ́n sọ pé torí àwọn máa feed 1,000 nísìnyí, kọ́ wá ní àwọn ọmọ tó máa feed àwọn tó believe in Èṣù nìkan. No. Because àwọn ti wà nínú society to understand pé àwọn kan máa accept wọn, àwọn kan ní accept. This is the problem tá à ní Nàìjíríà. Àwọn Fúlàní kan fẹ́ accept pé àwa la nílẹ̀, wọ́n fẹ́ override wa. So mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín o, ìyá wa bẹ́ẹ̀ ni èṣù láàlú. So, and I love the work ten ṣe. Like I said, if I can't make it this Sunday, we will see how we will meet up. Mo mọ̀ pé frequently le máa ń ṣe event, ẹ̀dẹ̀ máa ń ní ibi tẹ́ ti máa ń ṣe ìjọsìn náà. I'll come down there, you know, mo ti lọ sí sẹ̀lẹ̀ rí, mo ti lọ sí church ìyá àdúrà rí, ọ̀fẹ́ ni mo lọ bá wọn ṣiṣẹ́ níbẹ̀, ọ̀sánwó fún mi. Bí wọ́n ti fún mi lówó kan rí o, mo lè parọ́, but ọ̀fẹ́ ni. So mo ti lọ sí mọ́ṣáláṣí rí. So we should be able to also visit Ifa Temple. And I'll be there, like I said, you know, if we can't make it before the end of the year, I promise I will be there. But I've always had the intention that, but since I can see you on the thread, and eba ki grandma no àti àwọn ọmọ temple. So let's move on to the next conversation. So for the fact that we are talking about Britain to exit, need Louis, what change the passport to? So when we talk about moving away from Nigeria, Omawani Pisini, Koniwani Pisini, the moment it stopped to exist, the first thing that is going to happen is that we will have a change of identity. Identity problem. We are having a serious identity problem. And I'll remind you what was said by Erotiman Kontaka Kinielano. Agent Lossi stream me again. Where is my stream? All right, let's go back to 1914 amalgamation. By now, in the next few days, listen, I celebrate this fraudulent amalgamation to what does Siwa Lorun. And one Siwa Lorun. Yet, many of us now content the Campbell Aka Kinielano. Why 1914 amalgamation is Nigeria beam? Okay, only we talked about it yesterday. Every problem Nigeria has faced, every problem Nigeria has ever faced, FACED, and we face. Every problem that has ever faced can be traced to the demonic event of 1914. The Guardian by Charles Ogbu on the 6th of February 2017. And I always love to give reference to what I do, so I'm going to post the link as well. Moki Babawa BD, Moki Ubentendarak Momowa. Bishop Adesunoni, Eshu in Yoruba means the ministry spirit. Yoruba ancestor called Eshu is known as Lanroye. It is not Satan or Satania. Eshu Lanroye is not the devil or the fallen angel. And want to compromise Eshu yen, ohun lawon Hollywood. Kema ki shepe fun yin. Àwọn lo da wàhálà le. Lo ma mu Jesu. Lo ma ni Jesu no Eshu pa. And we believe all that for a very long time. Jesu kokon no Eshu kokon pa. Jesu no devil ni. But the fabrication here was cooked, and gbogbo Nollywood tẹ́ bá lọ wò ẹ máa rí wọ́n máa prepare kinní kan ó máa dàbí monster ó máa dàbí kinní kan wọ́n á ní èṣù nìyẹn èṣù ló ń ṣe. So wọ́n wá mú, I don't want to go into all these religious I try to avoid it, but that is the way we were presented. Wọ́n wá mú òyìnbó aláwọ̀ funfun wọ́n wá náà ló na èṣù pa gbogbo nǹkan tó bá dẹ̀ jẹ́ nǹkan dúdú ló ń pè léṣù. It's lies. But she saw from a found river Mongo Park ló found the river Niger tẹ́ pé bàbá Mongo Park ní generation be mẹ́fà sẹ́yìn wọ́n ti bí wọn Mongo Park wọ́n máa found the river Niger. These people have destroyed us psychologically. They're still destroying us as we speak today. And until we start talking about it, about the most important thing to le fún àwa Yorùbá ní the biggest move or collapse in Nigeria. Tabati collapse in Nigeria, automatically gbogbo African countries ama reset the brain wọn. Ṣé wá ra wọn Europeans ama reset the brain wọn. Ẹ lọ wo man kan náà ní America. There's another palace kan tó wà bí Yoruba palace kan mo rántí orúkọ bí a backup to mi ma rán mi létí. No, they're doing very well. We are trying our best, but until Nigeria ba collapse, táwa Yoruba ní stand tiwa, we will gbogbo tá ń ṣe yìí nísìn ó máa drive very fast. But kò ṣe ká máa ní ẹ Yorùbá pọ̀ ní Brazil ìyẹn kọ́ la fẹ́ jẹ, Yorùbá pọ̀ ní Cuba. No, Yorùbá tó ń bẹ nílé is more than enough to change and transform what will lead the future of the Yoruba people, and it's going to happen in our lifetime. So let's go back again. So the 1914 year, is one of the demonic time. Táwọn òyìnbó ìdásílẹ̀ sí wa lọ́rùn. Ìtọ́dẹ̀ dá sí wa lọ́rùn a máa collapse. Bọ́fẹ́ bọ́kọ̀ bí a ní ó máa wáyé ní Tìjàní kò ní wáyé ní táwa bá náà jà ẹ lè sọ nǹkan táwọn Biafra máa ṣe. So yeah, Ọ̀yọ́túnjí ẹ ṣe gan ìyá mi Ọ̀yọ́túnjí yes. Ẹ lọ wo page yẹn. Gbogbo bí tíyàn sì gbọ́dọ̀ visit nìyẹn. Ó dẹ̀ pọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ta lè replicate, just like báwọn ìyá wa náà ṣe ń ṣe ní UK. I mean, when I saw the Ọ̀ṣun Day kinito ṣe yẹn, I was like, ní UK. Èmi dẹ̀ ń gbé nílùú yìí, mo dẹ̀ mọ egbò eléyìí. But again, ibi tí ọba mọ̀ sí náà ni. So, mo dúpẹ́ pé a ní àǹfààní láti rí àwọn ìyá wa tí wọ́n ń pè ní Ifadiwura, and they're doing very well. Now, ẹ jẹ́ ká kátìkù yìí. Why 1914 amalgamation is Nigeria BANE? B-A-N-E. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ wo English dictionary. Ẹ̀wọ̀n pé lọ́dọ̀ wa ní bíbá a máa ń wá meaning nìkan. Àwọn ìbò ńlá láyìn ti pọ̀ jù. Kí ló dé tí kò loud? Okay. B-A-N-E. Kí ló mean? A cause of great distress or annoyance. Now, ìwọ ọmọ Yorùbá tó ní shut up. Kí ló ń fight fún? Wọ́n ní 1914 amalgamation. Ó ti cause great distress àti annoyance. So bí a bí ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn, annoyance yẹn, ó lè má wà bẹ́ẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀. But for the fact pé wọ́n ti wá ṣí ọkàn tiwa náà. Because tẹ́lẹ̀, yes, I was in the Nigerian community. I've talked about that. I was proud to have worked with the Nigerian community. I still have great friends within the Nigerian community. I refuse to work for anything called Nigeria. Wọ́n lè pè mí tí bá fi pé tí mo máa lọ tí bá wo tíìmù nǹkan tó fẹ́ ṣe níbẹ̀ tí bá rí pé kò wọ́tẹ̀, I will refuse not to go. I was there. Mo sọ fún yín pé ìjà kan wáyé nígbà kan. Abike Dabiri was in the Nigerian High Commission. Ìjà yẹn wáyé tẹ́ pé ọ̀fẹ́ fọ́gò mọ́ra wọn lórí nínú Nigerian High Commission. What refuse wọ́n jẹ́ kí n record níjọ́ yẹn. I was there. Community tí mo wà nú ẹ̀ ni. So kò ń jẹ́ pé ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ rí mi pé iléeṣẹ́ ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ Yorùbá. No, I was in that community. But Baba Akintoye wá sọ fún wa pé kí ni Baba Akintoye ṣe máa ń sọ to achieve the noble goals. A gbọ́dọ̀ kúrò ní Nàìjíríà. In tó bá máa mú wa pé a fẹ́ rí noble goals wa, tá a bá kúrò ní Nàìjíríà a lè rí o. Lóòótọ́ Ifá máa gbè wá, Jésù á máa gbè yín tẹ́ believe ẹ̀, àbí á máa gbè yín, but we are all still in danger. So now, àwọn kan wá tún wá béèrè náà pé okay, jẹ́ kí n fi meaning ṣe, ọdọ́ ti fún wa ní meaning yẹn, but mo fẹ́ wo kí làwọn ṣe béèrè. Again, B-A-N-E. Wọ́n ní Nigeria, the 1914 amalgamation is Nigeria's BANE. B-A-N-E. Great distress. Ṣé kò fún wa ní distress? Látijọ́ tí wọ́n ti ní wọ́n achieve independent, ìwọ sọ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ fún ìwọ àti family ẹ̀. Má sọ tẹlòmíì. A máa parọ́ family tiẹ̀, because ó ti cause distress for family tèmi. Nigeria yẹn ti cause distress for my family in the last 63 years, and it is time we let it collapse. Ó gbọ́dọ̀ collapse. Now, àwọn kan tí wọ́n béèrè pé what is the meaning of the word BANE? Àwọn èèyàn béèrè lórí Google. The meaning of BANE is a source of harm or ruin, cause, how to use BANE in sentence. Ìyẹn lẹ́yìn wá ní ká save, ìyẹn lẹ́yìn wá ní ká tọ́jú. Ṣé kò ti bayé jẹ́, kò bọ̀rún jẹ́, kò balẹ̀ jẹ́? Ṣé gbogbo adíjú tó bá tẹ̀ mọ̀ nǹkan kan níbi tílẹ̀ ṣúdé yìí? Ó yẹ kó mọ̀ pé nǹkan kan ti go wrong. Kò ń ṣe gbàdúrà àwọ̀ ọ̀gbà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, but ó ti cause distress. Kò cause distress nísìn. Ó ṣe jẹ́ Ọ̀tẹ́dọ́lá bridge yẹn, Káró àbí kíní kan bridge yẹn. Kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ níbẹ̀ yẹn? Tó bá jẹ́ pé tutù ló yẹ kó ṣe síbẹ̀ ni, ẹ jẹ́ kó ṣe tutù síbẹ̀. Tó bá jẹ́ kó ṣàdúrà ni, tó bá dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé engineering problem wà lérí àyẹn, ibẹ̀ yẹn gangan ní Kárà. Accident tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ níbẹ̀ yẹn, ká tó parí ọdún yìí, ẹ máa gbọ́ pé accident ṣẹlẹ̀ níbẹ̀. Kò ń ṣèpè. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ níbẹ̀? Ṣé ó nídìí kan ṣàdúrà síbẹ̀ ni? Ṣé ó nídìí kan expand ẹ̀ ni? Why are we living in denial? Ó ń cause distress fẹ́mi, ó ń cause distress fún ọ. Ó wá ní ìlú yẹn náà ni pé ká ṣì maintain. No, ó gbọ́dọ̀ collapse ni. Ó dẹ̀ máa collapse. Àsìkò tó máa collapse nìkan láì tí mọ̀. Bọ̀pá wa máa dákẹ́. Mọ́lẹ́mi ni last man standing lórí ìrìn àjò yìí. Èmi ni máa ṣí ọkàn yín kúrò lára ìlú tí ó fún yín ní distress. Èmi ò sí nílé, ó ń fún mi ní distress. Every day ni mo ní distress lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà, because tí bá gba phone call báyìí nísìn distress ni, because ẹni tó bá pè mí láti Nàìjíríà nísìn bàbá distress ló fún mi. Nítorí ẹ kọ́kọ́ béèrè pé ṣàlàáfíà lẹ́wà, àwọn ọmọ ń kọ́ tó bá máa fi sọ̀rọ̀ méjì mẹ́ta nǹkan dún kọ́. Láyé àtijọ́ ìyá tèmi jẹ́ kí mi mọ̀ pé wọ́n máa ń send owó wá láti Nàìjíríà sáwọn èèyàn. Àwọn kan sì ń ṣe àwọn olè. Ẹ lọ wo Kogi state governor, wọ́n ní nephew ó sẹ́ndí over kìíní kan $1,000 lọ sí Amẹ́ríkà ó fẹ́ lọ fi kàwé. Ìwọ máa wáyìn pé máa sọ pé Nàìjíríà máa work. All these are bastard politicians. Wọ́n ti báyé jẹ́, wọ́n ti kó distress sí yín lára, wọ́n ti pa yín sínú, mo ní wọ́n ti rape yín, ẹ kàn ń wọṣọ ni. Ẹ rò pé gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n ń ṣe olóṣó nìkan ni, wọ́n ti olóṣó gbogbo wa pátá látòkè délẹ̀. A kàn manage ni. Ẹlòmíì ní ọgbẹ́ ọkàn àìsàn kékeré ló ń ṣe nísìn ó wá rọra ń faṣọ sí wọ́n ti rape ẹnìyẹn ó ti wà in distress of the 1914 amalgamation. It has to collapse if truly we want to exit Nigeria so that we can have a better life. Akérédolú ò fẹ́ kú òun ṣe máa treat rẹ̀ ní Ondo State òun ṣe sá lọ sí Germany. Kí ló dé tí Akérédolú ò ṣe dúró sínú Ondo State kó máa tọ́jú ara ẹ̀ nínú General Hospital tóun fúnra rẹ̀ ò pọ́ǹpù owó sínú ẹ̀. Àwọn rò pé àwọn gbọ́n àwọn sá lọ sí Germany wọ́n fẹ́ kú wọ́n wá ní kéèmì àti wọ́ tàbá kú ká lọ bá God tíyàn kankan rí ta ló lọ sí ọ̀run tó padà wá rí. Ẹ má tanra yín a gbọ́dọ̀ allow that distress yẹn a gbọ́dọ̀ pull it down. A fẹ́ fi pull it down gbogbo wa la máa jọ ṣe kò ń ṣe bàbá Akíntóyè nìkan ìgbà máa gbáyà sókè kó máa lọ síwájú no Ìgbòho níyàwó kò lọ́mọ ó níyàwó lọ́mọ Ìgbòho náà òun ti ṣe tán ṣáwà ti rẹ́dì òun níbèrè. Now ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sórí átíkù yẹn mo kí gbogbo èèyàn olólùfẹ́ wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí yẹn mo drinking. Ẹ ṣe gan ni ìyá mi Chrissy ẹ kú ìnáwó àná ẹ̀yin lẹ máa fún wa lówó tó jẹ́ gbẹ̀gẹ̀ lórí kíní lánàá nígbà tí mi gan rówó yẹn báyìí ẹ mọ̀ káwá jẹ̀búdẹ̀ láìkọ̀ owó báyìí owó yìí máa pọ̀ mọ́ mi wọ́n ní Kóìkì wọn fìyẹn sílẹ̀ ó tó bẹ́ẹ̀ ojú bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ẹ má bínú. Mo kí gbogbo wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí báríkà Jímọ̀ fún gbogbo àwa mùsùlùmí mo kí gbogbo àwọn mùsùlùmí pátápátá a máa bá wa láyé a fi wá sáyé lẹ̀ lọ ni gbogbo àwa tá à ń palẹ̀ mọ́ èṣù dé náà a bá wa láyé àwa tá à ń palẹ̀ mọ́ ọdún kérésìmesì náà gbogbo náà wọn ní ọdún ẹni ọdún bá láyé ló ń ṣọdún. Mo kí ìmọ́lẹ̀ Yorùbá ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ sínú átíkù ilé nǹkan sí. Every problem Nigeria has ever faced and will face can be traced to that demonic event of the 1914 when the British merged the southern and the northern protectorate into one country that is today known as Nigeria. Wọ́n ní gbogbo wàhálà àti ti rí tẹ́lẹ̀ àti tẹ́ sì máa rí ìwọ máa sọ pé Ọlọ́run jẹ́ rí èmi náà sọ pé Ọlọ́run jẹ́ rí bí bàbá wa Owólabí ṣe sọ nìyẹn táwọn bá ń lọlé ẹ̀wọ̀n kó ìyàwó wọn máa gbàdúrà fún wọn pé dádì bò ṣe pé mo fi wọn fámìlì mi ni wọ́n nísìn wọ́n lọlé the same day tó délé ní last year ni wọ́n pa wọ́n ní Fúlàní jí wọn gbé òrùpá àwọn náà ṣàdúrà ni àwọn tó ń ṣàdúrà náà wọ́n ń ṣàdúrà but it is just a problem. Mo kí ìyàwó Margaret Ìbíjọkẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni Ìjẹ̀bú like owó tó bá like owó kó like paper àwa àdẹ̀dá fún British ní wàhálà jù mo dẹ̀ wà lára àwọn tó ń fún wọn lóyún wàhálà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ nísìnyí mo ní wọ́n mọ̀ mí dáadáa kò yẹ pọ́n ní mọ̀ mí ìgbà táwọn ṣe terrorist kọ́ là ń ṣe níbí báyìí so ọ̀ ní choice but ní tó ń ṣe ni pé wọ́n ní kó tone down gbogbo message mi lórí social media 500,000 followers ni mo ní lórí Facebook ẹ wo Facebook wa nísìnyí tá a bá calculate ẹ̀yàn tó wà níbẹ̀ nísìnyí ẹ rí i pé minor ni ẹ̀rí 15 people lówó mi níbí báyìí ṣé 15 ni mo ní èèyàn ní 500,000 but nígbà tí mo sọ̀rọ̀ àlefanṣá máa sọ̀rọ̀ kó àtòkò ní sẹ́ má bínú fún language yẹn ibà máa dàrú nísìnyí nígbà tí mo ṣe ṣẹpẹtẹ́rì ìtawà gbé dání ó yàtọ̀ sí ìtawà gbé dání náà ẹ̀yẹ ká padà síbẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan wọ́n ní gbogbo problem tí Nigeria face àti tó tún máa face can be traced back to the demonic event of the 1914 amalgamation. ṣé mo kó tó bá yẹ pé Britain fi wá sílẹ̀ tí wọ́n máa jí wa tábàtẹ̀ wá sí ní problem àmọ́ pé a wà on our own kí ló máa jí wa fún mo ti sọ fún yín pé business center ni for their own selfish interest. Mo dẹ̀ máa sọ pé ìjà tá à ń jà a bá ọmọ British àwọn citizen wọn jà o because tẹ bá tẹ̀lé wọn dé ibi tó ti ń ṣe campaign wọn nílùú yìí àwọn ọmọ wọn ìfẹ́ tó ní sí humanity kò ń ṣe gbogbo wọn but àwọn tó nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí humanity ìyẹn máa wò pé ṣé àwọn people ṣé wọ́n mọ̀ wá ni ó dà pé bí spirit kan náà máa ń jà lára wọn. Mo lọ sí event kan ní last year if not a year before nígbà tó dárúkọ Kẹnsaro Wíwá tẹ bá rí gbogbo wọn bó ṣe quiet wọ́n gbà àwọn eléyìí ò dẹ̀ mọ̀ Kẹnsaro Wíwá but wọ́n mọ̀ because wọ́n mọ̀ pé ìjà òtítọ́ ló yà fún ẹ wo gbogbo Niger Delta yẹn wọ́n dẹ̀ ṣẹ́ẹ̀lì dẹ̀ destroy gbogbo bẹ̀ yẹn àwọn people yẹn ò lè pẹja mọ́. Buhari olórí burúkú ó ní àwọn máa clean ẹ̀ tó fi lọ 4 years wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ project yẹn ẹ lọ sí Niger Delta eze ẹja lọ́ máa ń pa níbẹ̀ ṣẹ́ẹ̀lì dẹ̀ destroy gbogbo ẹ̀ wọ́n sọ gbogbo bẹ̀ wọ́n pollute ntí ìjà ẹ̀kọ́ ní Kẹnsaro Wíwá ń jà ní Abacha ní kọ́ lọ pákọ́ áńgẹ̀ tó fi suspend Nigeria kúrò in the community of kìnnìkan nígbà yẹn. I pity a lot of us that are still in the hope that Nigeria. Mo kẹ́ ìmọ́lẹ̀ Yorùbá. Let's go further. Britain had only one thing in mind while they were carrying out this fraudulent 1914 amalgamation, their administrative and economic conveniences. Administrative, tọ́bánẹ́ ní administrative, ìlú ọ̀bẹ̀dà olè bìtì wọn. Tọ́bánẹ́ tó ní ètò, tọ́dẹ̀ ní ìtọ́ ń pè ní ètò lọ́wọ́ ìgbà tó fẹ́ sin òkú queen. Ẹ lọ wo possession yẹn. Ẹ lọ wo mọ̀ wọ́n òyìnbó kan tó máa ń lò. Ẹ lọ wo choreography yẹn. Wọ́n ọ̀bẹ̀dà. Ẹ̀mí a máa wà nílùú ìpé ìlú ìlú fẹ́ wá gbé ni. Wọ́n ní ètò. Kódà kámẹ́rà tún máa gbé ẹsẹ̀ lọ́dọ̀ àwọn sójà tó máa march tó máa because àwọn ló ní ètò lọ́wọ́ administrative. UK ló ní. Especially àwọn tá ṣiṣẹ́ ní bí irú hotel for 10 years. Mo máa wonder pé kò tó tí event kan bá ti ń tán báyìí àwọn the same organizer yẹn ìjọ yẹn náà lọ tuntun book ìjọ yẹn náà látúntún plan àmọ́ wá plan títí event yẹn máa fi dé máa wò pé àbájọ 10 years ni mo fi ṣiṣẹ́ nínú hotel nílùú yìí wọ́n ní ètò nígbà tá à ń ṣiṣẹ́ tí mo ṣiṣẹ́ dé Governor's House Hotel, one of the 5-star deluxe hotel nílùú yìí tó bá ní báwọn yan 1,000 bọ̀ wá jẹun ìlú yìí ní ètò wọ́n máa ń sọ fáwọn chef yẹn pé aago 10 gbogbo staff tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ nínú hall yìí àwọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ rí ẹyẹ níbẹ̀ wọ́n dẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ 3 main course kódà wọ́n tún máa mu tea ẹ wá máa rí eré ìgbìgìgbìgì ìgbàgàgbàgà èèyàn 1,000 tó wá jẹun yẹn wọ́n bí ẹ̀dá because 10 o'clock yẹn wọ́n fẹ́ go live wọ́n dẹ̀ fẹ́ yẹ kó máa rí ẹyẹ nígbà tó bá ń ṣe live ẹ mọ̀ pé kámẹ́rà máa zoom wá sórí tébù yẹn kankan wọ́n lè ní that is Michael Jackson nígbà tó bá wá rí Michael Jackson tó sì ń jẹ tó sì ń mu súùpù lọ́wọ́ wọ́n ní ètò no èmi gan mọ̀ pé wọ́n ní ètò I worked in the governor's house for a very good time ibẹ̀ mo ti drive àwọn bàbá mọ́tò mo ṣiṣẹ́ nínú as a waiter mo dẹ̀ ṣiṣẹ́ as a car attendant àwọn mọ́tò tó ń pe mọ́tò ránṣẹ́ ibẹ̀ mo ti mọ̀ pé olówó máa kúre ni àwọn mọ́tò kan wà ó pààkì síbẹ̀ ẹni tó ní wà ní ó wà lábroad a kàn máa ń bá wọn wọ́n mẹ́ ìlú yìí ó fẹ́ràn owó ìyẹn ló ṣe máa ń gba owó olè owó dis owó oríṣiríṣi ló wà nílùú yìí owó oríṣiríṣi gbé wọ́n ti torí mo fẹ́ Nàìjíríà I pity you owó oríṣiríṣi ló wà nílùú yìí owó oríṣiríṣi ló ń bẹ nílùú yìí but ẹni tó bá wà nínú wọn wá forí ẹ̀ fágbọn bó ṣe forí kékeré máa dùn fágbọn do you know amount of money tó kọjá through ìlú yìí láti Africa wealth wa tó wà nílùú yìí kò ṣe kékeré kò jẹ́ kí a máa jẹ wa àwa ìran ọmọ aládé ó yẹ ká wá sí ìlú yìí ká wá set up ká dẹ̀ padà ká kọ̀ set àwọn nǹkan up kò ń ṣàwọn èèyàn wa la máa set up o a máa set up àwọn ìlú míì àwa máa wá padà sílé àwa máa lọ ṣe gbogbo tá à ń ṣe ẹni tó fẹ́ máa ṣe deities ẹni tó fẹ́ máa ṣe this a máa train àwọn èèyàn ẹni tó fẹ́ ta pop-off ẹ máa tà fún wọn ẹni tó fẹ́ ta mọ́ínmọ́ín ẹni tó fẹ́ ta this ẹni tó fẹ́ ta black soap ẹni tó fẹ́ ta this àwa wá wà nílùú yìí àwa dúpẹ́ fọ́lọ́run àdúpẹ́ fọ́lọ́run náà ni ṣòwárí ìwọ tó ní èyí tí à ń sọ yẹn ò yé mi o gbogbo àlàyé yìí ò tí yé mi o no problem èmi gan mọ̀ pé mo wa mọ́tò àwọn bàbá mọ́tò ó kàn máa wà náà ní wàá kọ́ àgbà jáde àsáré wọ́n mẹ̀ wàá tún fi padà àwọn bàbá mọ́tò àwọn mọ́tò tó ń pe mọ́tò ránṣẹ́ I love that job then but again in life you just have to move on very good job I did then you know àwọn Arabs yẹn kẹrẹ tó bá dé báyìí wọ́n ṣe ṣìnà ju ìwọ tó ń sọ pé mùsùlùmí àwọn Arabs wọ́n ṣe ṣìnà bí wọ́n ta tẹ́tẹ́ ju kíló dálẹ̀ lọ tó máa wọ white garment wọn àwọn máa ń sùn lọ́sàn-án ní gbogbo time báyìí nísìn Arab ń sùn lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ nísìn lótẹ́ẹ̀l tó bá ti ń dọwọ́ 5 wọ́n ti máa pè wá ní àwọn ibi tí mọ́tò wọn park sí pé ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí wọ́n mọ́tò yẹn sílẹ̀ driver tó máa wá gbé mọ́tò yẹn táwọn máa fi dé báyìí ọmọ kẹrẹ ọ̀dọ́ náà máa gbé mọ́tò yẹn padà wá máa rí bills of transaction tó ṣe ní gambling to the thousands and millions of dollars olórí burúkú ni wọ́n àwọn Arabs yẹn mò ń wo CBS 60 lánàá 60 minutes kò mọ̀ sọ pé ìwé àìní journalist international news yìí ṣé àwọn pé Saudi Arabia àkó pa journalist kan sí Turkey ní Istanbul ní embassy wọn Khashoggi now wọ́n wá ń try láti bring back their image. But àwọn èèyàn sọ fún wọn pé information sọ pé ọba yín ló give go ahead pé kó pa journalist yẹn. Àwọn nínú kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀, this, that, they keep lying. These are criminal people. Kò ṣe gbogbo wọn. But that Arab country tẹ́ ń rí yẹn, àwọn ló pa journalist sínú, I mean, wọ́n pa, wọ́n wá ṣasí wẹ́wẹ́. Àwọn tó dẹ̀ pa yẹn within hours wọ́n ti fi private jet wọ́n ti fi gbé wọn kúrò nínú Turkey. Turkey wá ní ẹ pààyàn sílùú àwọn, wọ́n kọ́kọ́ deny, wọ́n ní ó wọlé lóòótọ́, ó wọnú embassy, ìyẹn fẹ́yàwó ni àbí nǹkankan, ó ní ìdí láti gba àwọn document kan wá wọnú embassy lọ. Ẹ mọ̀ kíyàn ó dàbí pé kí wọ́n Nigerian embassy nísìn káwá máa ní wọ́n wá mi àná nísìnyàn kan pè mí, wọ́n náà wọ́n gbúrò Máyégún ní Scotland. Wọ́n náà gbúrò Máyégún kẹ̀, ẹ̀gbọ́n yẹn pè mí láti America, ó send message, èmi náà pé Máyégún mo gẹ́tẹ̀ fóònù ẹ̀ lọ sí voicemail, mo ní bí ó ti báyàwó ẹ̀ ti lọ holiday ni. Nígbà tí mo send message sẹ́gbọ́n yẹn padà, wọ́n náà àwọn ti padà rí pé wọ́n online pé àwọn kọ́ láti máa make sure pé àwọn check on every one of us ni. Ìtàn ń pè ní pé àwọn tó wà concern nìyẹn. Tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá rí wa fúnjọ́ mẹ́ta ọjọ́ méjì, ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ pé mo lọ́wọ́, especially àwọn táwọn pariwo báyìí kó má jẹ́ pé ti kidnap wa lọ. In tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí Nnamdi Kanu ni àwọn olórí burúkú wọ́n jẹ́ kó kidnap Nnamdi Kanu, wọ́n wá jẹ́ kó gbé láti Kenya. Àwọn tó yẹ kó pariwo Nnamdi Kanu síta pé àárí ọ̀gá wa o, wọ́n dákẹ́. Ẹ wá ní káwọn Biafra má bínú tán. Àwọn tó yẹ kó tètè pariwo pé níbo ni Nnamdi Kanu wà, àárí Nnamdi Kanu o, wọ́n dákẹ́ for 8 days tí Fúlàní fi gbé Nnamdi Kanu dé Nàìjíríà. Let's continue. Britain had only one thing in mind while they were carrying out this fraudulent amalgamation. It was for administrative and the economic conveniences of themselves. They don't care about you, they don't care about me. The bá fi pé wọ́n care about us, don't fún yín ní peanut, don't ní government máa ṣe dáadáa fún gbogbo wa, irọ́ ni gbogbo ẹ̀. It's all lies. Nothing more. The action of the British can be compared to a man who brought both herbivorous and carnivorous animals from the market and choose to put them in one cage to make it convenient for him to transport them home. Ẹ̀gbọ́n ìbò yẹn. Ẹ ṣáà mọ̀ tán pè ní carnivorous àti herbivorous. Tó bá mọ̀ kí yá kí n ṣàlàyé fún wa. Ó dàbí pé kẹ́ gbé àwọn ẹranko tí wọ́n ní bára wọn ṣe, kẹ́ gbé wọn together. Ó wá fẹ́ transport ẹ̀ lọ sílé, Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí wọ́n gan délé, òun lọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà. Wọ́n kó amọ́ ẹrẹ̀, wọ́n kó amọ́ ìdọ̀tí, wọ́n kó amọ́ tí kò jẹ́ kó wà pẹ̀lú wa. As people of great importance tí Elédùmarè dá gbogbo wa, àwa ní ká collapse. Ìyẹn lẹ́yìn kan wá ní kò yé wa o, tẹ́ ń sọ yìí, má dẹ́gunlẹ̀ o, tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá understand, ẹ farabalẹ̀ kẹ́ béèrè béèrè. The future of Nigeria needs to collapse so that we can have a better life ahead. Let's go further. This man knew that the herbivorous feed on herbs and they are very harmless and they are easygoing. But herbivorous, ewé làwọn máa ń jẹ, very easygoing. They are even very harmless. Ó wá gbé èyí tó ń pè ní carnivorous, èyí tó jẹ́ pé flesh ló máa ń jẹ, and they are most times very aggressive and violent. Mo wà lórí TikTok nídàjí nígbà tí mo jí, because mo ti jí lọ́wọ́ òru gbà mí yàn á kọ́ jí, èmi kẹ̀ máa kọ́ browse èmi náà lọ sórí TikTok àwọn kan sọ, mo ní bàbá kan tó ṣàn fìdí ajá ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ bímọ ni, mo ń wo àwọn ajá wèrè kan tó yẹ pé máa ń burú gan yẹn, mo á rántí àwọn oríṣiríṣi nǹkan tá a ti rí tájá máa jẹ àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀, ẹ̀ ṣáà rántí àwọn ẹ̀yin náà àbíṣọ́pẹ́ nǹkan èmi ti rí àwọn tó yẹ pé ní Nàìjíríà náà àti ní abroad, ajá tó ṣẹ̀ bímọ tán á kó tún jẹ àwọn ọmọ tó bí yẹn, ajá kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ náà, ó ti di dìgbòlugi nìyẹn o. So they are flesh làwọn máa ń jẹ. Ẹ wá gbé animal tó ń jẹ ewé, ẹ wá gbé kó èyí tó ń jẹ flesh, ẹ wá kó wọn sínú cage kan náà, ẹ wá ní ẹ fẹ́ transport wọn, kí lẹ rò kó máa ṣẹlẹ̀? Òun lọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà. That is the current state of Nigeria tí wọ́n fẹ́ protect. Àwa ni ẹlẹ́rọ tútù, olómi tútù làwa, àwa máa ń gbàlejò ni, àwa ò fẹ́ràn wàhálà, àwa ọmọ aládé, àwa ta nífẹ̀ẹ́ gbogbo yàn. Even nǹkan tá a bá hate ara wa, a sì nífẹ̀ẹ́ gbogbo yàn. Ó wá gbé wa pẹ̀lú àwọn kìnìún. Fídíò kan wà lọ́wọ́ mi tó ń bá màálù sùn. Àwọn ìṣẹ́yàn làwọn yẹn. How did we even get to where àwọn tó ó jẹ́ kó ní understanding ẹ̀ Tẹ́ kọ́ máa bínú jà wá lọ, wọ́n bínú because àwọn rò pé àwọn safe. Ìjọ kan the same set of people máa jẹ gbogbo yín. Ọ máa rí yín jẹ. Pẹ̀lú security tẹ̀ ń kó káàkiri yẹn, wọ́n máa rí yín jẹ. It's just a matter of time. This man knew that the herbivorous feed on herbs and they are very harmless and they are easygoing, while the carnivorous, they feed on flesh and they are most times very aggressive and violent. They were aggressive, they were violent. The way I talk might not be comfortable with you. That is why we are all different human beings. Moke jaya jaya. Wọ́n wá àwa èèyàn tútù, àwa tí a fẹ́ràn ẹ̀mí. Lóòótọ́ nísìnyí àti rí àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá náà tẹ́ pé ẹ̀mí ò jọ yín lójú, but a fẹ́ràn ẹ̀mí. Wọ́n wá kó àpẹ̀lú àwọn tẹ́ pé tó bá gbé ọrùn èèyàn báyìí wá dúnbùlẹ̀ wá dẹ̀ kò dẹ̀ sí tó kàn wọ́n. In other words, the herbivorous animals in that cage might end up as a meat for the carnivorous ones, even before the man will reach his destination. He knew all these, but still choose to put those animals together. Talo ba kó àwọn animals yẹn separately. That is a problem in Nigeria. Wọ́n kó gbogbo wa together. Bishop Adesina, historically, some set of Yoruba people were engrafted and incorporated into Britain. They are founder of the York City. British New Yoruba are indigenous of York City in UK. Mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ York ton sọ yẹn because that is Hull. Hull nìyẹn. Tó bá dé Hull yẹn is about almost, tí bá travel, tí bá fi gbéra láti bíbá anything, after take almost by road. Mo ti drive lọ́bẹ̀rẹ̀. Nígbà tá a ṣe ń ṣe boys káàkiri. Mo ti lọ sí University of Hull. Ọmọọba Akeolu, Bọ́ba Akeolu kò tí ìṣọba nígbà yẹn o. A lè sọ pé nísìn ọba Akeolu. As at that time, he was a policeman. Ọ̀kan náà ọmọ ẹ̀, mo ní dárúkọ ọmọ yẹn, ìyàwó méjì ni bàbá yẹn fẹ́. School yẹn ló ti mo kàn rántí nísìn, University of Hull. Èmi àdẹ́dẹ̀ ti mọ́ra lẹ́kọ̀ọ́. Àwọn ọmọ olówó náà, ọmọ olówó, èmi náà ọmọ olówó lèmi náà. Anyway, èmi bá fàájì tèmi lọ ni, as usual, okay, boys la ṣe gbà yẹn àti fẹ́rẹ́ àti màárì, ó ti yẹ yín ká má fi gbẹnu sọ̀rọ̀. Èmi bá fàájì tèmi lọ, mo gbé mọ́tò láti London. Mo ya lọ síbẹ̀, ó jì gan. It's almost about some almost 7 or 8 hours. It's a long it's a long distance from London. Láti London, mo fẹ́ wo distance yẹn. It's a very long distance. I love long distance, drive. So, nígbà tí mo wá débẹ̀, tèmi dẹ̀ ń ṣe fàájì tèmi lọ, 4 hours 27 minutes láti London, the Kingston upon Hull, ibẹ̀ ní York tí Bishop Adesina yẹn tẹ́ ń sọ ẹ̀ máa wà, tó wà, yeah, sorry. Wàá gba Sheffield kọjá, wàá gba Birmingham kọjá. Bí mo ṣe ìmílẹ̀ àtẹ́yìn fi fàájì lọ, mo ṣe wọnú school wọn, ìgbà yẹn mo dẹ̀ ṣe ní mọ́tò kan tèmi náà, ó yẹ yín tó ń dún tátátá. Ẹ wọlé nìyẹn, tèmi dẹ̀ lọ bá, bí yẹn ṣe wá nìyẹn, àṣà ń sọ̀rọ̀. Bí ọmọọba nísìn, ìkan náà ọmọọba kábíyèsí, ìyẹn Akeolu, nígbà yẹn Akeolu làwọn máa ń pè níkànmí pẹ̀lú ọba ń gbà yẹn, nísìn lọ́ba nísìn àlẹ́ rẹ̀. Ìgbà Akeolu ni, tàtẹ̀ mọ bàbá yẹn dáadáa, ẹni lè tètè bá dẹ̀ máa fọlọ́pàá dẹ́rù bàbá ní phase 2. Bí ṣe bọ́ ọmọ wọn ṣe bọ́, bó ṣe wá bá mi ní ọkọ̀ gímí ní, yọmí gíní kan, ilé tẹ́lẹ̀, kí ló wá ṣe lọ? Àṣà sọ̀rọ̀, fine girl lọmọ wọn yẹn. Ṣùgbọ́n ní South Africa, àwa Nàìjíríà nìsín. So ìrẹ́lẹ̀ mọ̀ pé má ti wà lórí road tipẹ́. But at the end of the day, what I'm just trying to say is that our privilege, our privilege. And one of the sons did not agree with the father till date. That's another topic for another day. Let's come back to the conversation. So, arákùnrin mọ̀ pé àwọn ẹranko méjèèjì yìí, ìkan máa jẹ kan kó tó débi tán lọ, in tí Britain ṣe fún wa nìyẹn. Wọ́n kó wa mọ́ àwọn tó máa jẹ àwa. And today, we are saying that we need to talk about it so that we can have a better life. So, do we need the brain of Albert Einstein to figure out that the welfare of these animals was the last thing on this man's mind? Rather, all he cared about was getting them all home, whether dead or alive, without spending extra money for another cage and extra fare for that new cage. Kàkà kó separate gbogbo wa, Walk over together. And that is why there's friction. We don't like each other. There's disunity among us. It's because 1914 amalgamation is going on the problem. Nigeria is many nations. At we keep repeating it. Mokiya Babawa Ifa Tony Akindele George Eshigoni. Spell it Okikileko instead of Koiki. Mr. Daniel Koiki, well done. Keep educating your people. Good work watching from Biafra land. Thank you so much. Remile Kwadile Yeshe Muki and every one of you that have joined us so far in this conversation. Moke Ogumola. So good afternoon. Allow Baba Moki Ubentie Walori Mix LR. Let's go further and read more from this 1914 amalgamation. Nigeria is many nations forced to remain within an unworkable forced marriage. I want us to take note of that. Nigeria, Moki Mr. Testimony Ogutono. Mukiba Baba Sunday Okpara. British have done more evil that Mukia Olajumoke Kuka Olajiri rather. When it comes to the movement, the most important thing you can bring to it is self, and no one should be left alone. We are in it together. Benny Eshigoni. Yawa Grace Oluchotoni. Juma Mubarak to all our Muslim brothers and sisters, fathers, and Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year in advance to my wonderful kids, sisters, brothers, mothers, fathers across the world. In Mala Yoruba Moki Yawa Krisi Ekuno Wano, Mr. Sunday Okbarani, British have done more evil than good to Nigeria as a country with multi-ethnic religious beliefs together without any regard. Mr. Boboye Joseph, good afternoon, my brother. Moki as God. Keep the comment coming, and we appreciate every single one of you on the thread. We still have about how long that is so far. We've done 2 hours. So, and you could do 3 hours. Look, yesterday we had over 4 hours. So, exactly 3 hours. We're going to end it. Emma Binet, Silver Badmos said, the last man standing of our time. Thank you so much. Mr. Dosi Oluwaseyi Olaniwaju, and well done. Thank you so much, sir. Also, Silver Badmos, thank you. AJ, anyone with dual citizenship must not be allowed to hold a political office in Yoruba nation. Well, that will be on the constitution of Nigeria, of Yoruba land then. Today's topic is funny, Mr. Koiki. How are they going to make that happen? Anyway, Mr. Koiki, this is the method that they have been doing to deceive Nigeria. And I think it's this already, hopefully we are saying later about this 50 million poverty in Nigeria. How Tinubu wants to do that, I don't know, but I wish him all the best. Because we're just 15 minutes before the end of the program, so that come out to do 3 hours now. So Nigeria is many nations forced to remain within an unworkable forced marriage. The amalgamation was born out of compulsion. That line, one nation born in freedom, peace, and unity, in our national anthem is one hell of a dirty lie. Only national anthem, arise, O compatriot, Nigeria's gonna obey to serve our fathers. Serve fathers land. I serve Yoruba, but I will not serve that shito called Nigeria. Simon ever served Nigeria by running for Nigeria. Look at what he is doing today. Showore served Nigeria. Look at what he's doing today. Delegiwa served Nigeria. He was bombed to death. Uncle Bola Ige served Nigeria. Chief Justice of Nigeria under Obasanjo, he died. Funsho Williams served Nigeria on the public sector for 17 good years. Funsho Williams, Lenny, Tolulopa Rotile served Nigeria as the first helicopter combat pilot. Mr. Tokyo 778 Mukinyi. I have my own suggestion. Put that suggestion out. I can read it if it's worth reading. But please, we are not talking about armed struggle here. We're just talking and educating about people. But if you have your suggestion, you can put it out. I'll pick on it if I think it's worth reading. So, how many people have died in this country that Nigerians were reading the same national anthem during the EndSARS? What happened to them? They were massacred. So, that line, one nation bound in freedom, peace, and unity in our national anthem is a one hell of a lie. Where is the freedom? Where is the peace? Where is the unity? I'll ask the question again. Where is the freedom? Where is the peace? Where is the unity? I really think we have had enough of these rhetorics. This was 2017. Yoruba Nation. This article was written in Guardian newspaper in 2017, but because the social media, nobody's talking about it, this time around, many people are now understanding, okay, Mr. Koiki, it will make sense, but Kini Nigeria, what is Nigeria? Yes, there is a country running called Nigeria, but what truly is Nigeria? Awatawa, even indigenous people, but it is the British government as at that time that forced us together in this herbivorous and carnivorous cage. So one eats grass, one eats flesh. The one that eats flesh is going to end up eating the one that eats grass. It is high time that we got down to real business of paying ourselves the courtesy of being blunt. The One Nigeria slogan is one of the biggest organized lies of the century. I did not write this report. This was in 2017. Just Reason says, I have not seen a single Nigerian politician recite the national pledge. They will not, because it is not going to work for them. The One Nigeria slogan is one of the biggest organized lies of the century. But many Nigerians still do not want to accept that because they are living in illusion. It's the biggest lies. There's absolute nothing one about Nigeria. There is absolutely nothing about one about Nigeria. If we look at all the happenings in the country since 1914, amalgamation till date, we will discover that the only thing that binds us together is mutual suspicions of one another. Hey, you be Igbo, you must be doing fake and drugs. You be Yoruba only, you be scammer, hey, scammer, ole. Or you be Hausa, hey, we are all suspicious of each other. Every day, we are suspicious of each other, and we will never trust each other. We will never trust each other, and it will remain like that till thy kingdom come, until we are ready to get the hell out of this contraction called Nigeria. I'm just speaking on some of the comment coming there. Prophetic Rufus Mukinyi, Baba Biodun Olawale, God bless you, my brother. God bless you too. Moki Egbomi Oluwa Folabi Sheun, and keep the energy of my brother. Moki Mommy, my big auntie Iyabo Oluwale. Moki our princess Adebimpe Awo Niyi. Mofito Toki. Moki Bugbanwo Ekiti Parapo. Moki Kwara. Moki Oyo. Moki Egba. Moki àwọn tí Oṣòdì. Moki àwọn tí Lagos Island. Àwọn tèmi ní gbogbo Ìtàgàràwú. Moki ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń bẹ ní Ojú Ẹlẹ́gbà. Moki ní gbogbo Yaba o. Moki ní Abẹ́òkúta. Moki ní Ṣàpọ́n. Moki ní Ọ̀ṣun. Ní Sókà ní ìlú Ìbàdàn, ẹ kú tọ́jú bàbá Olóyè Ìgbòho. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń bẹ ní Oǹdó lọ́dọ̀ àwọn ọmọ lókà lọ́hùn nílùú Àkúrẹ́. Mo kí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà nílùú Èkìtì. Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. A ti fẹ́ parí ètò náà, ó kù díẹ̀ chinchin ló kù. Now let's finish the final part. A very influential Yoruba monarch once threatened to drown Igbo residents in Lagos in the lagoon. Ọba Akiolu ni. Yet not even a single shop owned by the Igbo man was burnt in Lagos as a result of that threat. All the cat and dog fight between the Yoruba and the Igbo, there has been no case of these two tribes attacking each other physically. They always end in long grammar, which is how decent beings end their misunderstanding. But for some of the other regions, every disagreement must end in bloodshed. Àwọn not in here. Àwọn máa ń jà tẹ́ni máa bọ́ lẹ́ni. Despite all the brutalities of the government, IPOB has never killed people. Despite the volume of arms at its disposal, OPC has never attacked innocent people. Despite the gravity of environmental terrorism the federal government has carried out in the Niger Delta, neither men nor avengers have ever bombed innocent people. But even without provocation, the terrorists in the other part of Nigeria killed many innocent people, take over their land with active support of the government. All the killings of innocent people that have been carried out so far, starting from the Igbo program of 1945 in Jos and that of 1953 in Kano, were all carried out by the enemies of Nigerian unity. Are we waiting for Rwanda, 1994? Example, before we summon the needed courage to stop believing our own lie about Nigeria being won. This country has since reached its elastic limit. It can no longer stretch again. India and Pakistan were once a country. Today, look at India and look at Pakistan and tell me what you see. The only solution to all our problem of this country is federalism in letter and spirit. Anything short of this will only leave us with the peace of graveyard, which is no peace at all. We must renegotiate our coexistence. Ogbu, a social analyst, wrote from Port Harcourt. That is the reason. Moki baba mi Eshegoni, Mr. Son Odu Alafia Eshegoni. Sheshi wa loli de abeti pada Eshegoni kwa droti wa ikubububa. So that is how far I can go this afternoon. If I have the privilege to be back again, I will definitely do. If you come across the program, share it. Tell somebody else that there's nothing common in Nigeria. It was something that was put together by the British government, and eventually it has never worked. And on that note, I say we will come back again if we can. Yoruba Nation, no going back. Have a very good afternoon. My name is Olamide. Thank you so much, those of you on the Twitter space. I know we have people that were coming in and out, and everyone that have joined us on all the platforms. Please give us the title of this article. I need to post it. Okay, what I'm going to do before I go, I'm going to bring it again to the TikTok later, like I did yesterday. I promise you I was going to post some of the things I said yesterday. But if you're following me on Twitter right now, go on that Twitter, go on my Facebook. I'm doing that right now. I'll be posting that just a few minutes before I go. So I want us to go there. You will read the link there, and you'll also be able to get the message of why we say Nigeria will never work. Nigeria is a crime scene. Nigeria was put together for the selfish interest of the British government as at the time, and they will not tell you that, but my job is to remind you that the 1914 amalgamation is one of the biggest fraud in the humankind or human race. So I'm posting that right now, and I want us to all go and read it. I'm going to post it on the Twitter, which is X. I've just done that now. So if you're following me as well on the Facebook, Olayomi Koiki Media rather, I've just done that right now. You can also go and read it from there. But I'll send the link and we'll see on Twitter or TikTok. There's no solution without an ethno-linguistic Yoruba nation. How can we get rid of Indigbo? You cannot get rid of Indigbo. Give them freedom and let them go, and we lock our borders. That's all. You cannot. The present day Nigeria, we will all live together. Whether you like it or not, whether you hate them or not, we will live together, because that is what the fraudulent 1999 Constitution says. I live with different people in this country, and I respect them. I abide by them. I don't have to agree with them, but that is what the law says. If I don't agree with them, I should then be checking out of UK. But I decided to live here for 25 years, even though I don't want to say I hate anybody, but I don't agree with everything that happens in this country. But for now, I'm living here because I have to abide by the rules and regulation. So there's no way you will even say, even if we separate Yoruba from Nigeria, people still come and live with us. The Igbo will live with us. We will just be able to control them based on our own new constitution. Just like I live in this country, my fingerprint is with the British government, and we will take fingerprint of those that we think that they should not be living with us. You cannot have a country and say, Yoruba ni Koloma wa nibe. The world is so big. So this and all this again is what the British created. The British wanted us to hate each other. I am not here to defend the Igbos. The Igbos are criminals, just as the Yorubas are criminals, the Hausas are criminals. But one thing we are saying is that when we have a country, you cannot have a country and say Yoruba people will only be inside that country. You will have the Igbos, you will have the Indians, you will have this, you will have that, but we will be able to control them with a new system of government. And that is not going to happen in the present day Nigeria. And that is a fact. British refused to give Al Fayed a British passport. He owns Harrods. He's a billionaire, not in Naira, in pound sterling. He was never given a British passport till he died in this country. His daughter, his son, Dodi, was the one going out with Princess Diana. May her soul rest in peace. From what we heard, we know that that death has a lot of hands. It was not a natural death, because Princess Diana, from what I got, was already pregnant for Dodi, and that will never happen in the history of this country. So one thing is, for when people say that we want a Yoruba nation, but you don't want Igbo to live with you, I don't know how that is going to happen, because we have lived together before What we can only do is we will have a new rules. The current 1999 constitution allow the Igbo to live anywhere. If you sell your land to them, that is your own cup of tea. Maybe it is time now that the Lagos state, all the state governors should start thinking of, if people are in distress, the Yoruba people, buy those houses from them and let us save and preserve it. And that's the way it is. Thank you so much. So I'm just going to post the last part of this broadcast. Merry Christmas coming from Princess Adebimpe, and Happy New Year. She's sending a message to every single one of you on our platform. Mr. Tone Code say, after independence, in order to build a great nation, each country went to war. But in Nigeria, after independence, our people went to prayer and fasting. So while we were praying, Malaysia came here and took our palm seed, built a great factory. They are the second largest palm oil producer in the world today after Indonesia. While we were praying, Singapore went into investment in technology. As at 1982, Babakintoye told us that Singapore was just very backwards. While we were praying, India went into ICT. They are one of the countries that are producing and diamond. Go on my page. I posted it yesterday. While we were praying, went into a massive industrialization. If you think that Bola Tinubu is going to take out 200 million out of poverty, we will still collapse Nigeria on its head. While we were shouting, Allah Akbar, United Arab Emirates went into massive infrastructure and development. Many of you would love to spend Christmas there, and I know many people that are traveling for Christmas to Dubai in the next couple of days. While we were binding and casting Lucifer, Japan went into technology development. While we were speaking in tongues, Denmark went into education of our citizens. While we were mounting big speakers in our place of worship, US was mounting man on the moon. While after our prayer, God, being a wise God, decided to reward us according to our labor. Since those that went into industrialization, technology, infrastructure development, ICT education had been rewarded accordingly, it is only wise God reward with us our effort in prayer. That is why today Nigerian pastors are complaining, building the biggest churches. That is why there are more prayer houses, worship places than hospitals and schools. That is why people rush to prayer house for medical and business solutions instead of hospital. That is why we don't do business proposal before jumping into business, since we are going to go back with prayers. And once such collapse, we blame devil, not issue. Do not blame issue for our problems. That is why it is a sin to say anything negative about the pastor and imam. That is why our pastor don't consider the opinion of engineers while building and blaming devil when the building collapsed, just as one collapsed in Ebute Metta this morning. That is why the faith in God replaced building pillars. When it collapsed, we blame it on Lucifer. That is why our pastors are making sure that they plant church branches instead of schools in every street in Nigeria. That is why we are always wait for God to do that which ability to accomplish He has already handed over to us. That is why we want our teachers to labor on earth and go to heaven for their reward. Pastor, no one died, like my good brother, Zazu said. Nigeria is prayer-loving, God-fearing nation. Religion has taken place of technology, infrastructure, education, and all. When we are traveling, we ignore all the necessary road requirements, services of our vehicles, and pray. And once we pray, we can't put half-fit vehicle on the road and blame our stepmother and mother-in-law if anything goes wrong. God help us that we're saying with one that unite, bond us together. Igbos were saying they are going, Yoruba are complaining every day, but the only solution to the problem is to get out of that country. Thank you so much for that very powerful one, my brother, Stone Cold Peter. My name is Olami Koiki. If you're new to the platform, share it. Remember to follow us. One thing is, my page has been shadow banned, and that means that most of my message do not travel as much as I would love it, because they know that if 500,000 people listen to me every day with this kind of message, we will dissolve Nigeria within 1 year. Thank you so much, Ebony, Ambassador, my sister there, and good job that you're doing within the community. I love you so much, my sister. And on that note, I will wish you Merry Christmas. If I come back, fair enough. If I don't, I'm sure, just make sure you tune in as we will continue to bring you all this news coming out of Nigeria. Olayomi Koiki is my name. 22nd, 12, 2023, 8 minutes past 2 p.m. I lock the date and the time, because the next generation will listen to all these broadcasts and they'll be satisfied that some of us stood our ground, fought for the freedom that is going to happen in our lifetime. Bye for now.